Houston, Texas, a sellout crowd to see two first-place teams, the Patriots and the Cowboys. Some feel the winner today will be acclaimed as perhaps the best in the NFL at this juncture of the season. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. It's 38 degrees in the Dallas area. A cool day, but as you can see, some sunshine beaming through the open roof of Texas Stadium. Two teams coached by, well, two outstanding men, Tom Landry and Chuck Fairbanks. And you made a comment earlier, Merlin Olsen, that the team's play reflect the attitude, the personality of their coaches.
I think given a period of time, the teams take on the attitude of a man like Tom Landry. He's had 19 years here. This team reminds you a lot of the precision, the coolness, the intelligence of Tom Landry. And he's put together a great team in the Dallas Cowboys.
Chuck Fairbanks has drafted well and in some ways regarded as a little more open style, although the statistics don't show that. Patriots run 70% of the time.
Well, a very conservative coach, but a very smart coach. Get a chance to look at the strength of these two teams right there as you examine the rankings in offense and defensive statistics.
Tremendous strength in their respective conferences. The Patriots and Cowboys 1 or 2 in almost every significant statistical department. 2 finals are in. One affecting this game. Miami has shut out the Redskins 16-0. So a loss by the Patriots, the Dolphins would be only 1 behind. And the Jets are still in the running as they knock off the Colts. That's a final 24-16. The Cowboys will get the ball. Blackwell, number 24, a Lois Blackwell from Houston, and Butch Johnson are deep. David Posey will lift it to our left, and this key game will be underway. Here we're down to the 14th game of the season. This would be the regular season finale until this expanded year of 16 games. Underway with a good long kick. Johnson at the 6, at the 20. Down at the 26-yard line in the hold of number 83, Don Westbrook, a wide receiver from Nebraska. A team we'll see in the Orange Bowl on New Year's Day. The Dallas offense, Staubach, the veteran quarterback, Tony Dorsett, their long ball threat or long home run threat, and Scott Laidlow for the injured Robert Newhouse at fullback. Wide receivers for Staubach have Pearson and Hill outside, and Big Billy Joe Dupree at tight end. Staubach, 55% on the year, number 2 in the NFC rankings. 21 touchdowns, just 3 off Don Meredith's Dallas record. Oh, play action fake, and Staubach going to run it. 30, and he's down with his patented slide at the 34-yard line. Sugar Bear Hamilton chasing him down.
Not afraid to start with a little razzle-dazzle. Let's run down the Dallas offensive line for you. 67, Pat Donovan. Herb Scott doing a good job inside at guard. John Fitzgerald at center. Tom Rafferty, one of the messenger guards. And good old Rayfield Wright back in the starting lineup for the Dallas Cowboys. 3-man lineup for the defense of the Patriots. Mel Lunsford and Tony McGee alternating at left end. And Sugar Bear Hamilton on the nose. Rich Bishop on the outside.
Second down, 3 at the 34. Inside to Laidlaw, and he plows forward to a first down. He's out across the 38-yard line. Laidlaw from Stanford University. Well, we talked about the running talents, the multi-dimensional abilities of these two quarterbacks, Grogan and Staubach, almost as if he was eavesdropping in our booth. He ran at the first play.
Might have been listening to us. Let's look at the linebacker. Steve King in for the injured Steve Zabel. Steve Nelson may be the best linebacker around in the opinion of some. Sam Hunt, Rod Schote. We'll look at the deep backs after this play.
First down for the Cowboys at their 39-yard line. Oh, Dorsett and Staubach bump into each other, and fortunately they still execute the handoff, and Dorsett gains almost 4.
That's kind of embarrassing. Roger obviously crossed up in there by something, but watch Dorsett actually run right smack into Roger. Roger doing a little bullfight there, a little olay as he stepped aside. And I'm sure there's a conversation taking place in the huddle right now. Whose fault was that? Quickly, while we have a chance, let's look at the defensive backs for New England. They have some real fine ones back there. Whoops, not going to have a chance. We'll do it. There they are. Raymond Claiborne, Haynes at the corner, Doug Bedoin, and Tim Fox are the safeties.
Cowboy coaches are saying Fox is the best free safety in the NFL.
Well, he sure has the respect of team as well.
Dorsett on the draw, and he also attracted number 56, Rod Schote, who played his college football in this part of the country at Oklahoma. No gain.
Talking to Roger Staubach before the game, Dick, he said something very interesting. He said, if we can do well on first down against the Patriots, he said, we have a tremendous advantage. He said, when you start going into second and long, third and long against them, they throw such a tremendous barrage of defenses at you and play them so well that they are really tough. And obviously, they're in a third and long here. Let's see how they handle it.
Shotgun or spread, as Dallas Cowboy coach Tom Landry calls it for the first time. The shotgun and Staubach, the trigger man. Being chased by Hamilton. And he's very close and gets the first down as he falls forward to the 50.
Well, we set it up right at the top, describing the running ability of the two quarterbacks. You get to see Staubach here. Cannot find the open receiver. Simply outruns Sugar Bear Hamilton, goes right at his legs, and then knows exactly how much yardage he needs for that first down. Out of the grasp of Bedoin, dives for enough to pick it up.
Remarkable athlete, and as you said so well, when you were playing against Staubach, you do everything right except you couldn't protect against that scrambling run.
Sugar Bear must have felt like I did, more chasing than catching on that particular play.
8 yards on 3rd and 7, first down Cowboys at midfield. Dorsett for a couple. Well, we have a moment. You see the blue line marking the 50-yard line, and later you'll see red lines engaged around the yard stripe at the 20s. That's just to help the fans who are sitting in the end zone, who are looking through the field of play, to give them a perspective. They know that those are the 20s, and as you see the midfield stripe marked in blue. Tex Schramm always thinking ahead. There's the red of the 20. So if you're sitting way down in the end zone, you get a little better idea where the ball is actually located. Those yard stripes do start to run together.
We've just seen Mel Lunsford come out, and Tony McGee, Mac the Sack's gone into his place, put a little pressure hopefully on Staubach in the Cowboys passing game.
2nd and 8. That was the tight end Dupree in motion. Dorsett the other way. Loses. Crashing through was 57, Steve Nelson. He's a 5th-year linebacker from North Dakota State and developing into one of the true defensive stars in the NFL.
Coming out of the inside of this 3-4 defense, a linebacker has to have range, has to be able to read, and then just pick his way through the interference. Nelson does it beautifully there. Little necktie tackle at the end of it for a loss. Going to be 3rd and 11. That's beautiful play. He's a fine football player. I tell you, you're picking linebackers, you got to have him on your list.
Nelson comes out as the Patriots go to an extra defensive back. Dick Kahn is in there on 3rd and 10. Out of the shotgun.
Blitz coming.
Long for Hill. No flag, and Hill doesn't like it a bit as 26 Raymond Claiborne engaged in a bit of a bump that knocked Hill off stride.
You got to believe that Hill feels that he deserved a penalty on that. He and Claiborne running stride for stride. You'll see it right at the bottom of your picture right there. Looked like he actually bumped him well in advance of the arrival of the football. But apparently the official on the outside either did not see it or did not feel that it was an illegal maneuver. You see them there both going for the football. I'd say from up here, I don't blame Hill for being a little upset.
I don't either. It appeared that Haynes used his free arm, the right arm, to give him a push. He knew he was beaten. The kick by Danny White.
Oh.
Slaps one down the right side. Number 40, Mike Haynes at the 20 and down at the 21-yard line. Well covered. Benny Barnes, a star on the defensive special teams and regarded as one of the best punt return coverage men in the league. We're going to say that a lot about a lot of players. A lot of adjectives to be used today. We'll be right back.
Here.
New England owns the football for the first time at the Patriot 22-yard line. Quarterback Steve Grogan with Andy Johnson, Sam Cunningham behind him. His wide receivers are Stanley Morgan, Harold Jackson. They both have great averages per catch, and Russ Francis, 81 at tight end, moving to the right side of the line. Grogan, inside handoff, and out for a couple yards goes Andy Johnson across the 25 to about the 26, 2nd and 6.
There's the offensive lineman for the New England Patriots. Leon Gray, John Hanna. That's about as tough a left side as you run up against. Dr. Bill Unkaitis in the middle. Sam Adams and a very tall Shelby Jordan on the outside.
He needs to be tall today at 6'7" because he's trying to block 6'9" Ed Jones.
First time he said he'd ever played against anybody taller than he was. That's going to be an interesting match.
2nd and 6 for Grogan and the Patriots. Inside to Johnson, a big hole. 40, 50, 45-40, and finally Cliff Harris gets him out of bounds at the 37-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys on a misdirection. Johnson, a long gainer.
If you wonder why there was a big hole on the inside, let's go down and look at number 73, John Hanna. One of the toughest guards in all of football. Randy White shielded out number 54. Watch this trap block right there. Hanna just neutralizing Ed Jones. Pops Johnson through, and Johnson does a great job. A second look at it from another angle. You see how he neutralized the hole right there. Got big too tall Jones to hold on the outside, and Johnson down for a very substantial gain. Beautiful play. Puts him in great field position.
First down at the Dallas 37. Grogan inside it goes again to Johnson. He's the workhorse, and he gets a couple to the 34-yard line. Cowboy greeting party led by Harvey Martin and Charlie Waters.
Well, let's talk about that Cowboy greeting party. Maybe we can take a look at the defensive lineup for the Dallas Cowboys. One of the toughest defensive teams in all of football. Ed Jones, you've seen him. Larry Cole in there. Randy White, outstanding football player. Harvey Martin. Harvey, of course, playing a little bit hurt in there with a bum knee, and Charlie Horse had bothered him considerably. Henderson, Brunig, and D.D. Lewis. Good core of linebackers.
Second down, 8 at the 34. Stanley Morgan in motion. Grogan to Johnson again. And turn the corner. Too tall Jones covering the outside. A 2-yard, make it 3 yards for Johnson. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Don Hasselbeck, number 80, who's the second tight end. They got 2 tight ends in on that play, trying to control big too tall Jones. But he just used all of that 6'9" length. I think his legs are taller than most guys. Got out to the outside and covered Andy Johnson. Very short gain. It's going to be a tough play now. 3rd and about 6 yards to go. Let's see if Grogan can help the New England Patriots to capitalize on this first drive. Benny Barnes, Aaron Kyle, the 2 safeties, Waters and Harris. 2 of the most aggressive safeties in all of football.
Grogan facing a passing situation for the first time, 3rd and 5. And he stays on the ground to Johnson. And he doesn't make it. Larry Cole, 63, made the tackle. So Johnson has handled each handoff from Grogan on this drive. The 37-yard run by Johnson, by the way, the longest against the Cowboys all year.
Going back inside, we showed you a great trap block earlier by John Hanna. Grogan going right back to the same kind of play. Here he comes looking for too tall Jones again. They blocked it off to the inside this time. And although Johnson can get to the outside, could not get away from the great pursuit of Larry Cole coming inside out. Made a super play to stop him. It'll be 4th and a field goal attempt coming from David Posey.
From the 37-yard line, a long 47-yard attempt. His longest this year is 47, and it's blocked. Rolling into the end zone. So the Cowboys get the better of both of the situations. They block the field goal and also get the touchback. So the Texas Stadium fans have cause to cheer.
Now, being 6'9" has its advantages. I believe that was Ed Too Tall Jones with all of that height on the inside, getting up in front of that David Posey field goal. Look at him. See if it is number 72. Hands up right there. Look how high he is right there. Touched it on the top, batted it away. Well, that's some great photography from the end zone. Our thanks to Kenny Fouts and Mike Weissman in the truck for giving you people at home a great look at that one.
Well, Drew Pearson was telling us about the Cowboy basketball team. He said their fans love to watch Too Tall Jones sweep the boards. He's quite a basketball player as well. So he stopped the New England's first threat to score, and they take over to the Cowboys at the 29-yard line, the spot where the ball was marked for the field goal.
Too Tall also blocked a field goal in that victory against the Washington Redskins last week, so he's kind of hot. That's an interesting position to be in. There are very few guys who can time that properly, to get up at exactly the right moment when that ball is crossing the line of scrimmage, to jump to maximum height. Of course, it doesn't hurt at all to have those long arms and have 6'9" in height to start out with.
That's right, and obviously that was not a touchback when it rolled into the end zone. As if the kick was missed through the end zone, and Dallas gets the ball at the line of scrimmage at 29. Staubach cranks it up. Tony Hill, first down at the 40-yard line. Claiborne on the tackle. Cowboys pick up about 13 on that throw by Staubach. Hill, 1 of 4 ex-Stanford players on the Dallas squad. His second year, he caught only 2 passes last year, but having a big season here in '78.
Larry Cole along with Too Tall Jones on the side. Ernie Stotner, their coach, giving him a little lecture there. Obviously pleased with the fact that they turned the Patriots away without any points on that drive.
Double wing for Staubach. Toss to Laidlaw. 45, 50, and another first down. Dallas inside New England territory at the 48. Tim Fox made the tackle.
Fox, one of the most aggressive safeties around. We've got 3 of the best safeties in football here today. I'll give you another angle of look at that. This is from the end zone. You'll see the hole open up to the outside. Laidlaw doing a good job of picking the spot there. Nelson diving, misses the tackle. Fox comes over. They say he's one of the best open field tacklers in all of football, but you can't afford to have them picking up that kind of yardage on you, or you're going to have a long afternoon defensively.
No score. 6:27 remaining in the first quarter. Both teams have moved the ball fairly well. Cowboys on first down. Give it to Dorsett. To the 46-yard line where Rod Schote plugged the hole for New England.
I think one of the most interesting things about this Cowboy offensive team, they really have had trouble in the first half during the season. Until last week, they'd only scored 21 points in the first half. They did break loose last week. In fact, they marched down and got 3 points with their first drive. But they really have been a slow starting offensive team during the year. And it's one of those things that they were able to break out of, put 13 points on the board last week. But it'd be interesting to see if they can keep that momentum in the first quarter going here today.
Staubach off play action to Dorsett. Nice catch, and then a drop by Hill at the 33-yard line. Staubach doing a good job of getting the ball to his receiver. He was going down as he threw that one.
Well, I think one of the interesting things about Staubach is he is not only a fine quarterback, he's a great athlete. And certainly proved it in that situation. Off balance, on his way to the ground, still able to get the ball into the area where it could have been successfully completed. And perhaps more importantly, not throwing a pass that would have been interceptable at that point.
And now undoubtedly we'll go into the spread or shotgun. Maybe we'll get a chance to look at John Fitzgerald, the center. One of the reasons the shotgun works is he doesn't have to look at Staubach when he snaps the ball, can keep his head up. 3rd and 8. Staubach intends it for number 26, Preston Pearson, a great receiver out of the backfield. Little off target, and the Cowboys going to have to give up the ball.
Cowboys like to go to those intermediate patterns. You see Roger just shaking his head there. He would like to have put that ball on target. Pearson, as you say, a specialist. Usually comes into the backfield when they want to throw the football. Can run it, but usually called on to be a receiver.
Mike Haynes, who was second in the NFL last year in returning punts, inside his 15. Danny White, currently 4th in the NFC in punting with a 41-plus average.
That's a quarterback back there. Always gives you the fear of a run or a pass.
Hangs a high one. Haynes going to let it go, and it leaks into the end zone. So the Patriots will play it from the 20-yard line. Timeout. 5:27 left in a scoreless first quarter. That's next Saturday, Grand Prix of Bowling from Reno, Nevada. $100,000 purse here on NBC. Of course, we'll also have some NFL action for you next Saturday. And speaking of action, of course, another big game to the south. The Steelers and the Oilers at the Houston Astrodome, and periodically we will be checking for live reports on that big AFC Central Division contest. No score. New England ball, 20-yard line. 5:27 left in the first quarter, and Grogan to throw for the first time. It's a screen. Cunningham. Good open field running, and he stepped out of bounds back at the 25-yard line. Cunningham out of bounds at the 25. Henderson eventually made the tackle. Let's check other scores. Miami shuts out Washington 16-0 to put pressure on New England. Help Dallas at least in the Skins trying to catch the Cowboys. Another final. Oh, Atlanta with a chance at a wild card spot. Bombed by the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati's second win of the year. The Rams beat the Giants 20-17, all but assuring themselves a playoff spot and perhaps home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The Jets still alive with their win over Baltimore 24-16. We have more for you after this play. 2nd down 5. action by Grogan. Look at the time. Intercepted by Charlie Waters at the 35, the 30. Waters to the 27-yard line with his 32nd career interception.
Great play by Charlie Waters. One of the problems of this stadium, they're throwing out of a sunny area and into a bright area for a moment, and then the ball is lost momentarily. You see it right there. You can hardly even see the ball as it goes through that bright sunlight. Charlie Waters could see it. He got his hands on it, carried it away. You have to wonder if maybe Grogan wasn't bothered by the light conditions on that pass because it was not thrown well.
Harold Jackson, the intended target downfield, and Waters took it right out of his mitts, and Dallas with the first turnover in business at the New England 27-yard line. Jackie Smith, tight end in motion. That's Dorsett behind his block for about 5. Dorsett looking for a new Dallas Cowboy record. Needs 51 yards to pass Calvin Hill's mark of 1,142 in 1973.
Very happy Charlie Waters on the sideline. 56 Tom Hollywood Henderson behind him there. And they're over there saying, okay, that's right for us. We got the defense rolling. What else do we have to do now? You see the coach there with the defensive backs pointing out some of the plays that are being run. That's Ernie Stotner, great defensive tackle in his own day.
Yeah, they're back to the play. They don't watch the offense half the time. Dorsett on his own to the 20, 15. He's to the 10-yard line. First and goal, Dallas.
Tony Dorsett, number 33, has given these Dallas Cowboys the kind of outside speed that they have not had for many years. Not since Calvin Hill have they had a player who can get quickly to the outside. You see him here taking the option. Inside is shut off. Absolutely makes this play on his own with his great running ability and his great speed to the outside. Big gain. Got the ball inside the 10-yard line.
Not only is that sun and that open roof problems for maybe the passers, but it is for our cameras. You can imagine bright sunshine, then you try to close down for that and then open up for the shade, and now in the shade should be okay. First and goal from the 9. Dorsett for a couple, stopped at about the 7. Sam Hunt, Buddha, number 50 in the middle, spearheading the defensive charge. Tom Landry, 19 years Dallas in the NFL, 19 years the same head coach. Final, Green Bay beats Tampa Bay 17-7. Last report, Philadelphia was beating Minnesota. Buffalo trailing at Kansas City by 4 in the fourth quarter. And there's that 27-21 score. The Eagles, if they should win and Dallas loses, they're tied with the Cowboys for first in the East. What a year it's been. Laidlaw hoping that the Patriots would be keying on Dorsett. Staubach just ducked it off to Scott Laidlaw to the 4-yard line where it's third and goal.
Excellent play on the inside. Number 48, Tim Fox, was a player that got up off the ground off the bottom of that pile. Staubach, of course, waiting for Tom Rafferty, number 64, to bring in the play. San Francisco, New Orleans, 17-13. New Orleans playing well. Well, they've lost a lot of heartbreaking games this year. 7-0. Seattle, a surprising team, still in the race out there. 7-0 over Cleveland.
One thing, Cleveland or Seattle, the team that loses will probably be out of it. Third and goal. Staubach to throw.
Play action. Ooh, wants to run it.
Scramble, but it was closed off, and 72. Mel Lunsford made the tackle. There was only one Patriot to the left of Staubach, and he was able to turn him back inside, or that was a sure touchdown.
One of the things you have to do on a running quarterback, you've got to contain him. Watch Staubach makes the nice little play action fake right here. He's got a lot of time to throw. Credit the defensive backs with New England with excellent coverage. Now he's going to run, and they're contained about coverage right there. Finally, Mel Lunsford, number 72, came in, got a hold of him, and 57, Nelson just thumped him.
64. Richard Bishop is the man who probably saved the touchdown. He contained Staubach. Short field goal try out of Waters' hold by Raphael Septien, a 26-yard kick. And the Cowboys take the early lead. 2:02 remaining in the first quarter. Septien's 26-yard field goal after Waters' interception gives Dallas a 3-0 lead. The Cowboys, who have had trouble scoring in the first quarter, they've been outscored all season. They're 69-34 against the Cowboys in the first period, but they lead 3-0 with 2 minutes to go, and the kick by Septien is short. Taken by Westbrook at the 20, the 30, 35, 40, 45, and he's to the 48-yard line. Don Westbrook A little wide receiver out of Nebraska with a good run as he tiptoed down the near sidelines.
Gave him a little shuffle coming up through there. You can see the feeling on the sideline. They say, all right, you got good field position for us. Now let's turn it over to the offense. Give them a chance to do something with it. A lot of sparring going on. You get two very balanced and very strong teams that we have here today, and two very conservative coaches. They're not going to give you a lot to work with, but basically they're kind of feeling each other out. Dallas on the board first. Let's see now if New England can drive it down and put some points on the board.
Good field position for the Patriots. I'm going to ask you to define what good field position is. Grogan on first down. Up the middle, Cunningham. Sam Bam might go all the way. 25-20, 15-10-5, touchdown. Did you see that big 235-pound fullback outrun the defensive back, Charlie Waters? Oh, my.
Sam Cunningham had a slow start this year, and it wasn't until just the last few ball games that he has really gotten on track. Well, he was not only on track. Watch the block by John Hanna on Randy White. Turns him out to the outside. Makes room for on the inside. And I'll tell you, Sam Cunningham is on his own here. Charlie Waters, no match in speed for the 235-pounder, and he was not going to be denied that touchdown. What a play. Wow.
That open field run, Merlin, a la his Rose Bowl days with USC. He sees that goal line, and he goes into a 5-yard dive. Posey tacks on the extra point, and just like that, first play from scrimmage after the kickoff, Cunningham rumbles 52, and the Patriots are in front 7-3. No one had run 37 yards against the Cowboys until Andy Johnson earlier in this quarter. Now Sam Cunningham has gone 52 yards, and it's worth 6 points. 7-3 now, New England, as Posey kicks it off. Very high. Johnson at the 11. Butch Johnson, 25, and down at the 26-yard line. Knifing in from the side was Don Hasselbeck, the second-string tight end for Chuck Fairbanks. Roy Girella's field goal gives Pittsburgh the early lead at the Astrodome, but there are bad news emanating from the Dome. We understand Lynn Swann has been removed from the game, the brilliant Steeler wide receiver with injured ribs, and they will be x-rayed.
You'd hardly know that Chuck Fairbanks' team had just put 7 points on the board. He's a pretty serious man on that sideline, but got to be happy inside to see his team answer so quickly with a touchdown.
Wonder how long it takes for coaches to get that frown off their brow after they retire.
I don't know.
Never, probably.
Might be a permanent thing.
Laidlaw runs into a stone wall named Sugar Bear Hamilton. It sounds soft, but boy, he's tough to get around or through.
There's the frown we were talking about. You see the wrinkles in the forehead. A lot of pressure. Tremendous amount of responsibility in the hands of that man. And I'll tell you, he's done a great job in New England. Building a team that is acquiring more and more respect every year. And it appears to be on their way to the playoffs again this year.
Second down and 9. Laidlaw right, Dorsett left behind Staubach. Backs are in the pattern. Almost intercepted by Raymond Claiborne, intended for Drew Pearson, number 88, and Claiborne laying off his receiver, thought he had 6 points.
Come down to the field with the NBC cameras and watch this one as you'd see it if you were in the defensive secondary. Staubach trying to get the ball, the number 88, Drew Pearson. Watch the defensive play right there, coming out of nowhere. Raymond Claiborne reacting beautifully, and I think if he'd have been there just a fraction sooner, he might have been all the way down the sideline for another touchdown.
Claiborne, of course, with that 9.46 speed, electronically timed, and Texan himself like nothing more than to please some of his family here watching him today. Out of the shotgun, 3rd and 9. Going long for Pearson. Too long. Claiborne had been beaten, but it took a perfect pass, and Staubach couldn't quite drop it down the well.
Staubach said that you can occasionally beat both of these corners, but Haynes and Claiborne have such incredible speed that you have to almost throw a perfect pass to beat them anyway. You can get a couple of steps, but they can react to it and get back, as you saw Claiborne come back there and make it impossible for the ball to be caught.
Boy, last week on NBC, we took a busman's holiday, not having to work last week, Merlin and myself, and I watched that Seattle-Oakland game, a dramatic win for the Seahawks, and it looks as if they still have the momentum going. 14-0 first quarter over Cleveland.
Of course, Cleveland had a big victory against the Rams, too, so they're two teams that were hot from last week.
Stanley Morgan and he gets back near midfield. And the Patriots with good field position. How would you define it?
Okay. A good field position, Dick. Anytime you start inside of your own 40, in other words, from your 40 on down to the opponent's goal line, you'd have to consider that good field position. The reason you want to get a start there, every yard that you add to that means you have a chance to make some more mistakes. That's a yard you have to earn before you can get into position to kick a field goal. From there, you've got about 3 first downs. You're in field goal range. You've got a chance to do something. The other thing, if you're in your own territory, backed up, you can't call some of the plays you'd like to call. You've got to be a little tight to the vest.
Conversely, bad field position, you make a mistake, you're almost assured the other team 3 points or more. So good field position for the Pats. The handoff to Johnson, who gets about 3 to the 47. You saw that note earlier. Next Saturday going to be a big day here on NBC. Not only the football game, NFL 78 at 12:30. And that Saturday, you'll see Terry Bradshaw both in uniform and as a Hollywood stuntman. We'll have a punting clinic by Ray Guy, the great Oakland Raiders kicker. And the greatest of the great will feature Lance Allworth. That's on the NFL 78 next Saturday with Baltimore and Pittsburgh to follow at 1 o'clock Eastern time. The Lions and the Cardinals in the 4th quarter tie at 14.
Great Bambi. Who could forget some of the leaping and diving catches of that athlete? See Staubach on the sideline. Of course, Porter going to pull it away here. We'll be right back shortly.
We'll be back with the 2nd quarter of today's football game after these messages from your local station. 2nd quarter, New England leads Dallas 7-3. We understand Earl Campbell has been injured in the Houston game against Pittsburgh. Let's go to the Astrodome for this report.
Earl Campbell has just been injured and taken off the field. A fumble ensued as he was hit, and the Steelers have the football. 1st down and 10. They lead 3-0. Bradshaw wants it all for Jimmy Smith, and it's deflected out of bounds. Let's look at the play again. Earl Campbell had just picked up a 1st down for Houston and got banged by Donnie Shell.
Well, he's coming off the right side. He'll run right by 68 LT Greenwood. Coming down, he's going to be exposed. A great block on 59 Jack Ham. But he's twisted around, he's straight up in the air, and now this shot of the headgear right there, right in the rib area. You can see that really is a great shot. The ball leaves his hand just before he hits the turf, so it is a fumble.
Campbell isn't the only offensive weapon that has gone out of this game. Lynn Swan, the Steelers' excellent wide receiver, also hurt.
Sam, thank you. We'll be back to you again later. It's now 3rd down and 3. The Patriots at the Dallas 44. Grogan to throw. A rare tossing chance, and he's going to scramble and has running room. 30, 25, all the way to the 20-yard line goes Steve Grogan, and with that run, he should be over or close to 500 yards rushing this year.
Steve Grogan, 4.6 speed, and the ability and the courage to use it. He has no one open here. And watch him. Slipped a little on the takeoff, but watch the acceleration and the incredible running ability of this big quarterback. Let's go back and look at one of the guys who was chasing Steve Grogan. Randy White, number 54, driving hard. Hanna holding him off on the line of scrimmage. Got a little arm lock on him there. Takes the knees out. Keeps him away from the quarterback. Well, that's a battle between those two.
That is something we're going to continue to feature as Andy Johnson skips through a hole and picks up 9 more yards to the 11-yard line. As the New England Patriots are running behind that big left side, tackle Leon Gray and left guard Sean Hanna.
You'd like to be able to run the football. You ask a head coach, what's your game plan? And ideally he'll say, hey, we're going to go after him with the running game. New England likes to run on a 2-to-1 ratio, and you see how they've gotten their first downs during the year. 155 by the run, 95 by the pass. Look at the Dallas statistics on the other hand. They've actually had more first downs via the passing route than the running route. Interesting statistics.
It is indeed. 2nd down and 1. Grogan can almost play with this down, but doesn't. Gives it to Horace Ivory, his first carry, and he's going to lose 3. Bob Brunig, 53. Charlie Waters, 41. Infiltrating. Also another play was 31, Benny Barnes, as Chuck Fairbanks almost searching for points as he stares through that splash of sunshine at midfield at the play. It'll be 3rd down and a long 3.
Grogan making what I'm sure he thought was a very safe call and a very conservative call. Has it backfire on him and goes from 2nd and 1 to 3rd and 3. Now he's got a little tougher assignment picking up that first down.
We should say Grogan executing the call made by the sidelines of New England. The coaches make the calls. Into the end zone. Francis trying for the one-handed snare, can't make it. Russ Francis, 6'6" and 242, and he almost plucked that one off the top of the tree.
Looked like if he'd had a little bit more room, he'd have had it. Here's your chance to see it. Again, play action fake. He's going to have some pressure, gets the ball off, throws it deep enough so that it can't be intercepted. And watch that. Well, what a great athlete Russ Francis is. He's absolutely incredible. 235 pounds, up, had control of that with one hand. I think realized he was out of the end zone, simply unable to hang on to it at the last second.
Dick Kahn, 22, kneeling at the 20 for a 30-yard attempt by David Posey. Had his last field goal try blocked. Gets this one up. Is it long enough? He squirts it through. Oh, my.
Oh, he's walking away. He said, hey, glad I had that last 2 inches on that one.
That was a knuckleball. He just kind of floated that one across the bar. It counts for 3. New England leads by 7. Football both Saturday and Sunday next weekend. We told you about Baltimore and Pittsburgh on Saturday. On Sunday, a full slate of games. And don't forget, at 12:30 Eastern Time, NFL 78 with some great features. The greatest of the great will feature Otis Taylor. Kick comes down to Butch Johnson, 20, 25, 30, and stopped at the 31-yard line. Johnson with that rare opportunity to field a kickoff, running at full speed toward the opponent's goal line. Tackled by 59 Mike Hawkins. 83 Westbrook also in on the play. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Dallas Football Club and the National Football League is prohibited. Dick Kenberg with Merlin Olsen, 11 minutes, 50 seconds left in the second quarter. 10-3, New England leads Dallas, and Staubach trying to whip his Cowboys into scoring position. Out of the eye for the first time, play action to Dorsett, and wide open is Dupree, and Staubach misses him. Roger unhappy with himself.
Billy Joe Dupree, a great blocker, very unselfish player, but also a good receiver. You'll see him delaying on the line of scrimmage. They want to let the linebackers clear out of there. Now he's just going to drift across, hoping to find some open territory. There's the pass thrown, a little too high. That's why Roger Staubach is embarrassed and angry out there. If he'd had that one down, I think Dupree would have been able to run close to a first down. They cleared out the zones on this side of the line, had a lot of room for him.
Liable to see Dupree again. He's caught 8 touchdown passes this year. That's a new record for a Dallas tight end. They've had some good ones. 2nd and 10 at the 31. Johnson, the man in motion, throws a good block. Dorsett runs into a couple of red shirts out at the 38-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 3. We understand that Earl Campbell is being x-rayed for those bruised ribs, so 2 top talents, Lynn Swann of Pittsburgh, Earl Campbell of Houston, both with rib injuries in that showdown at the Astrodome today.
Interesting call on the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10, a fairly obvious passing situation. Landry choosing to call the running play and crossing up the New England defense, getting good yardage. Of course, now he's got his 2 tight ends in there, his running offense in there. Let's see if he does, in fact, run the football.
3rd down and a short 3. Laidlaw has the first down and more. Fox and Nelson, first 2 men to reach Laidlaw, who has the first down in the sunshine of the 45.
Dallas running some interesting plays out there. Earlier they ran a flanker trap with Jackie Smith coming in from the flanker position and trapping. On that play, they had Rayfield Wright, number 70, coming in to trap on number 71, Sugar Bear Hamilton. Sugar Bear had to wonder why they're ganging up on him that way. Nice call, a little misdirection to it, put him in there for the first down.
Dorsett into the eye, that's where he operates best. Staubach throws. Got time. Open man Hill at the 49, 50, out of bounds in New England territory at the 46-yard line. That'll be close to another first down, a 9-yard game. Duck in a final. Kansas City beats Buffalo 14-10 and won it with a touchdown from Livingston to White right at the final seconds of the 3rd quarter. No score in the 4th quarter. Kansas City a winner today from Marv Levy.
Dick, you asked me about field position earlier. Looking at where these 2 teams started their drives in the first half, Dallas started from their own 27 twice and from their 29 once. They got no points out of those 3 starts. They did get points when they started on the 25 after the interception and the turnover. New England, on the other hand, started in field position twice. Go ahead and call this, and then we'll come back.
Laidlaw wishes that it hadn't been called
Yes,
because he just lost 4 yards, had no chance to turn the corner. We welcome all you folks that have been watching the Kansas City-Buffalo game. Chiefs beating the Bills 14-10 here in Irving, Texas Stadium. 9 minutes and 50 seconds left in the first half. Dallas scored first on a 25-yard field goal by Raphael Septien after Charlie Waters intercepted a Grogan pass. A 52-yard run by Sam Cunningham, longest against Dallas this year, got New England on the board 7-3, and Dave Posey has kicked the 30-yard field goal for the Patriots. Here in the second quarter, it's 10-3 New England. Ball at midfield, 3rd down and 5 for Dallas. We'll get back to finish that up, Merlin. Lots of business, these two fine teams, and out of the shotgun, Staubach handling a short snap and can't get an open man. He just dumped that one off. He was under pressure. Preston Pearson was the nearest receiver. Richard Bishop, 64, pressuring Staubach.
You talked about the center, Dick, and the ability to snap that ball with his head up. Impossible to do it properly with your head down because that nose man would be gone. Fitzgerald gets the ball away, a perfect snap, and then engages Sugar Bear Hamilton, number 71. He's got to keep him off that quarterback by a little time. Interesting to me, Dick, that on that second one, a similar situation to what the Patriots had, Landry calling the same kind of play, a sweep. And both times they ended up with losses and lost the opportunity to continue the drive. Although the Patriots able to get 3 points on the field goal.
White will kick it to Haynes, who stands at the 10. Looks good. Fair catch. No, it's Stanley Morgan who takes it at the 12-yard line. First down New England. This is the deepest they've been in the whole of the game. 9:08 left in the first half in Irving, Texas. 35 degrees in Texas. 10-3 New England. New England with a ball in the lead. 10-3. 9 minutes left first half. Irving, Texas. Steve Grogan has Cunningham and Johnson behind him. Andy Johnson gets a couple across the 15-yard line. Tom Henderson, Hollywood Henderson, number 56, made the tackle. As he's been quoted, I'm long on confidence.
Well, Henderson did a great job in performance on that particular play. Held it off to the outside, and then as soon as Johnson cut it in, dropped off of the block and able to make the tackle. We talked about field position. This is bad field position. You've seen good field position. Backed up as New England is near their own end zone. They've got to be even more conservative than they would naturally be. We talked about the importance of getting that good field position. Actually, on the 2 scoring drives that they had, they started on their own 48 and on the 50-yard line, able to get points on both those drives.
Grogan outside, too far for number 86, Stanley Morgan, the steamer from Tennessee in his second year, looking for his 30th catch of the season. Those 2 wide receivers for Grogan. Morgan is averaging 24.5 yards per catch, second only to Wesley Walker of the Jets, and Harold Jackson is averaging 22 yards a catch.
Those are not only interesting statistics, but we'll show you a comparison pretty soon between the averages of those 2 receivers and the averages of the Dallas receivers, and talk about what the significance of that comparison is.
3rd and 7. Grogan, good time. It's Morgan. Fumble out of bounds. The Patriots get a break, gain a couple extra yards on that fumble out to the 30-yard line.
You've got to have pressure from the inside, and Randy White has been the most consistent lineman for the Dallas Cowboys. Watch him here, though. He's going against one of the toughest protectors in football. You see him doing everything he can, but he's being double-teamed. That was Lenkaitis out on his legs first, and then Big John Hanna, as if they didn't need more than one guy with him in there. You can see how angry and frustrated White is. He's not used to being held out. He spends most of his time wrapped around the necks of quarterbacks.
I love the fact that Randy White's own mother calls him Hunk. Across the 30, plows Cunningham for a few, and let's check the scoreboard. Up in the Kingdome in Seattle, the Seahawks have scored again. That brilliant young quarterback Jim Zorn is 7 for 8, has a touchdown, 128 yards, and Steve Largent already 5 catches for 84 yards for the Seahawks, who jump in front of the Brownies 21-0.
Seattle continues to be what a pleasant surprise for the folks up there in the Kingdom and in Seattle country. They are really in love with that football team.
You can't blame them a bit. 2nd down and 8. Jackson in motion. He's had big games against Dallas, and it's to Jackson. 1st down, no. Out of bounds at the 37-yard line, short by 3 of a 1st down. Benny Barnes, 31 on the coverage. Merlin, a future or an advanced report on Earl Campbell. Badly bruised ribs, they say, and sometimes the semantics when you talk about injuries, as you well know, a bruise can be something worse. They don't know whether he'll be able to play again today. Let's hope that that is not a fracture and that brilliant rookie for the Houston Oilers will be able to continue to play this year.
What a year he has had, too.
Last report, it was 3-0 Pittsburgh in the 1st quarter. 3rd and 3 for Grogan. Will they run it? Johnson will.
Ooh.
45. Oh, it's his own man. Jackson knocked him down at the 50, or he'd had another 10 or more.
Harold saying, gee, I'm sorry, he just tried to block. That's an embarrassing moment. Watch it for yourself now. Good call. Handoff here, trap block. John Hanna, 73, right there. Opens the way. Johnson doing a good job. You see Harold, he was coming in to try and block, and he's doing everything he can to get out of the way, but simply run over by Andy Johnson, but not till he got in the 1st down.
Jackson, double O soul. That's his 1st tackle in 8 years.
You saw there 9 rushes for 79 yards. Johnson having a fantastic day.
Horace Ivory into Dallas territory, about the 48-yard line, a gain of a couple. Randy White and Charlie Waters teamed up on the tackle. 6:40 left, 1st half.
We talked about the importance earlier of running the football, and it's certainly important against this Dallas team. If you get into a position where you have to throw the ball against them, they are absolutely devastating on the pass rush. But if you can make your running game go, you can give Dallas fits, because some of their linemen, although they're great pass rushers, do not handle the run as effectively as they handle the passing game.
That young Cowboy fan's face reads a little trepidation. These New England Patriots have moved effectively and lead 10-3. Fumble and recovered by Horace Ivory. Ivory with his dangerous 9.5 speed, also quick enough to find the football at the 47 of Dallas.
Ivory did a great job of getting that ball, but they're quick trapping number 72, big Too Tall Jones, right there. Too Tall has long enough arms to reach across. I think got a piece of Ivory. You see Ivory just doing everything within his power to get his hands back on the football. I'll tell you, that's a real battle down on the line of scrimmage, and right now New England's offensive line is winning that battle on the line of scrimmage.
3rd and a long 7 for Grogan. Great protection. Andy Johnson with a 1st down grab at the 38-yard line. Johnson from the University of Georgia. He's caught 25 passes this year, and he makes the tough ones look easy.
Grogan again, showing you the kind of thing he can do. He can put that ball on target with a strong arm. But as you said, Dick, he has time to throw the football. He could have taken even more if he'd have wished to. Put that on target to Andy Johnson, makes a good grab, rolls out of bounds with a 1st down. You know, it's interesting. Up until this game, Grogan and the Patriots have been going deep, like 1 out of every 3.5 passes, very deep. Today, they're kind of crossing it up, throwing mostly the short to intermediate patterns against these Cowboys.
Francis to the left side, and Grogan's going to throw on 1st down, and going for it all to Morgan. Benny Barnes, 31, and 43, Cliff Harris to break it up. Boy, he just cruises that Morgan. It doesn't even look as if he's picking up his feet.
Maybe that's why they call him the Steamer. Great open field speed. Had a tremendous week last week. 170 yards and 5 carries or 5 catches. Set a new New England single game record. And certainly one of the guys that Dallas has to keep their eye on. But that's the kind of pass right there. When we say 1 out of every 3.5 passes they throw is deep, that's the kind of passes they've been throwing. And 1 out of every 6 passes is a touchdown pass. Grogan has had a fantastic year throwing the football.
15 touchdowns. He has thrown 21 interceptions. One of those today that set up the 3 points for Dallas. 10-3 New England. 2nd and 10 for Grogan. Again, good protection. And there is Morgan. 1st down at the 21. So they send Morgan deep. You have to respect that threat. Then he cuts off his pattern short. 1st down.
That's great play. You'll get a chance to see it at home. Again, they're holding the Dallas defensive line out. Grogan has time to throw that ball. Outstretched arms and all. Still gets it off on target. Morgan makes a fine grab down there, and they have done a lot of marching. They've come all the way from about their own, 14, 15-yard line, all the way down to the 20. They're knocking. And I'll tell you this, Dallas's defense is puckering up down there.
Cunningham off the left side. This is the 14th play of this drive, Merlin, and Cunningham gets 3. He ripped off a 52-yard touchdown run for the only touchdown of this game. Clock running, 4:24, 4:23 remaining in the first half. The Patriots lead 10-3.
I talked to Jim Ringo, the offensive line coach for the New England Patriots, and Ringo's a smart football coach in terms of saying to his players, look, we're not going to make a lot of changes. We're going after Dallas physically. A lot of teams try and be cute with Dallas. They try and change to play that flex defense. New England's gone after him today, and it's been very successful.
They're after him again and gain only a couple that time as Harvey Martin wraps his arms around Andy Johnson. We pause briefly for station identification. From Irving, Texas, this is the NBC Television Network.
Channel 7, KTVB, Boise.
Sandberg and Merlin Olsen, these are the games that you'd pay to come and broadcast. 10-3 New England with 3.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
A little frustration, I think, for the Cowboys. They can't understand why they're not able to shut off the running game. And, of course, it's the running game that's opened the way for Grogan to throw that football so successfully. This drive carried all the way from the 14-yard line. So
3rd and 5. Grogan wants to run. And Harvey Martin played it perfectly. That was not a pass play. Grogan was a designed run all the way, a bootleg left, and Harvey Martin was right there to say, hey, I didn't make all-pro, just sitting on my back.
He not only made all-pro, he was MVP on defense in the NFL last year, and you can see the frustration on Grogan's face. That's good discipline on the part of the defense. On every play, you have people assigned for outside containment. And, of course, on that particular play, that assignment went to Harvey Martin. Martin was right there, made the big play on Grogan.
It's a 36-yard attempt by Posey. He's kicked one and had another blocked. And he has another block. Trying to pick it up is Aaron Kyle. And at the 30-yard line, the Cowboys have denied and have the ball. It appeared to be Randy Hughes who blocked the kick.
It was Randy Hughes, number 42, just shot through from the outside. Got his hands right solidly on that ball.
We'll look at that blocked field goal when we come back. 2:47 left. First half, 10-3 Patriots.
Back on the line of scrimmage, Dick, we're going to show you how Randy Hughes got in to block that. Leaps over the outstretched leg and shoulder, and right there leaps up in front of David Posey's kick. Gets a good hand on it. Now, if they'd have gotten a good bounce here, that ball may have been carried all the way to the other end zone. Aaron Kyle, number 25, I believe, is the guy that gets out there. Wanted to pick it up on the go, couldn't do it, so they'll start on their own 30.
Cowboys scored their field goal after an interception. Let's see what they do after their second blocked field goal attempt. Play action by Staubach, screens it off to Dorsett. Look at that move. Fumbles, and New England recovers at the 36-yard line. Dorsett fumbles. I believe Fox made the tackle, and Rod Schote, 56, comes up with the ball.
Very often an exchange of turnovers like that certainly favors the team that kills the momentum. Let's watch Staubach here. Good call. Throws it out quickly to Dorsett. Sam Hunt, number 50, did a good job of holding off the block, forcing Dorsett to go back inside. Spins away, gets a hit from Steve Nelson right there. Lost the ball right there before he hit the ground. Good call by the official, number 56, Rod Schote there to gather up that football. New England has it, and this, Dick, is good field position again. Let's see if they can take advantage of it.
They have plenty of time, 2:37, and it's Steve Nelson, the omnipresent linebacker of the Patriots, who made the hit that forced the fumble. Grogan to Andy Johnson. He realized that if he didn't go backwards, the ball would, so he went right with that tackle, as hooking in was Charlie Waters, 41, and 31 Benny Barnes.
Charlie Waters making that hit about a half a yard behind the line of scrimmage. He and Cliffy Harris, two of the most aggressive safeties in football, and they're willing to gamble. They're willing to come up and try and make that big play on the line of scrimmage, sometimes even behind the line of scrimmage.
Final score, St. Louis beat the Lions 21-14. So Bud Wilkinson, after that disastrous start, really getting the Cardinals ship in order. And we understand that Earl Campbell has not returned to play at the Astrodome, but Lynn Swann is back on the sidelines, has not returned to game action for Pittsburgh. 2-minute warning given here at Irving's Texas Stadium. The New England Patriots with the ball and the lead. 14th week of the NFL and some critical games, this being one of those, and at halftime the guys back in New York will run down all the scores, the standings, the highlights. Good to be here in Texas where New England leads 10-3. They have the ball just outside the 36 of Dallas. 65,101 capacity, a sellout, and most of those seats occupied. Johnson in motion. Grogan gets good protection again. Has a man wide open. Harold Jackson to the 10-yard line. He stepped out at the 11. First down for New England.
You simply cannot afford to give any good quarterback time to throw the football, especially when he has receivers of the quality of Harold Jackson. Jackson has always given the Cowboys fits. He seems to be all by himself in this play, has obviously either beaten the secondary convincingly or perhaps got them in a mistake.
John Hanna, 73, left guard. Watch him against Randy White. Hanna an all-pro and White the same. Boy, that is a couple of bull elephants battling in there.
And what frustration for White, who's saying, you can't be that strong. That's not fair.
Cunningham using his power but getting little, and this time Randy White said, oh no you don't. They say White, when they hit that big bag, that tackling bag at practice you are so familiar with, so you have certain sounds, and then White hits it and everyone turns to look and they say, oh, that's got to be Randy.
Well, he's having his trouble hitting John Hanna out there today. I asked Hanna yesterday, I said, are you really pumped up about this game? You know, there's been a lot of publicity about this matchup between you and Randy White. He said, well, of course you get excited when you play against a good player, and White's a great one. But he's not only excited, he was ready to play football today.
Second, a long 8, Grogan. Smothered at the 14 by D.D. Lewis, number 50. And White, 54, also in on the play, and Larry Cole. Second sack for the Cowboys.
You're having trouble getting pressure on a quarterback, you start sending a few linebackers, try and cross them up. That's exactly what the Cowboys did on that play, able to get to Grogan. Again, credit the defensive secondary of the Cowboys. He had no receiver to go to, had to pull that ball down and try and run on that particular play, unable to do it successfully. Third and very long, and down near the end zone, about the toughest kind of field position you could ask for to throw the football.
Third and 13 for a first down, 14 for a touchdown. Here come the Cowboys. Flag is down. Grogan into the end zone, but will it count? A flag is down at the line of scrimmage.
I think that's an offside, though, on the Cowboys. On someone, anyway. Well, you see Tom Henderson saying no touchdown. Now, it's going to go against New England.
First penalty of the game, and it cost the Patriots 6 points for illegal motion.
Oh, we talked about the running ability of Steve Grogan, and where could you have illustrated it better there? And what a tragic place to have the first penalty of the football game for New England and New England fans. You see it, they lose their contain right there. That's something they did not want to do. Grogan just tucks it away. Watch him go for that end zone. Boy, he's not diving for the sideline. He goes right through the arms of the back and out of bounds after he crossed the goal line. But it's going to cost them 5, and they've got even further to go for the touchdown here.
Now it's 3rd and 18 for the first down from the 19. And you know Chuck Fairbanks doesn't want to have to try another field goal. He's already had 2 of those blocked. That's the reason the Cowboys are still in this game, 10-3. That didn't fool anyone. Randy White especially stopping Horace Ivory on the draw. Another loss to the 21, and that means David Posey, the young kicker from Florida, has even a longer field goal attempt. Can he get one high enough?
He's got to be questioning his own kicking, and that's one thing you can do when you can block a field goal, especially when you block what he thinks was a good kick. And certainly the first one that Martin got up and knocked away was a good kick. Got to be causing some questions to be asked all along the line of scrimmage.
Time is called, Merlin, at 5 seconds. So what the Patriots did is run the clock down. They'll try the field goal. Figure even if this one's blocked, as long as it's not run back, Dallas won't have another scrimmage play. Timeout. We'll see if the Patriots will lead by 13-3 or 10-3 in a moment. Are overloading the left side as Posey will try a 39-yard field goal.
That's where they got the last one. Let's see if Randy Hughes can make it through this time.
Good snap. High enough, long enough, no good. So the Patriots have missed 3 field goals. They've also had a touchdown called back on a penalty. And 1 second remaining in this first half, they lead 10-3.
Very often a whole game can turn on just a couple of critical plays. And in this particular game, 2 of the biggest plays have been the blocks of field goals. And of course right here, that pressure I think caused Posey to hook that one a little bit. Watch Posey. He can see it. It's in for a while. And there you see Tom Hollywood Anderson leading the cheers on the other side. And Posey walking away with Dickie Kahn saying, just couldn't keep it in there. Looked like it was going in, but hooked away. Pittsburgh and Houston, 3-3. And Lynn Swann, we understand, has gone back into the football game. Good news for all those Houston fans, and good news for Terry Bradshaw, too.
Final play of the first half out of the shotgun. Staubach screens it to Laidlaw. 30, 40, 50, 45, 40, and out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Finally chased out by Mike Haynes. An exciting climax to the first 30 minutes of play here at Texas Stadium. Another big half to go. The score at the intermission. New England 10, Dallas 3. Preceding announcement furnished as a public service by the National Football League. Sam Cunningham's 52-yard touchdown run the difference as New England leads Dallas 10-3, but the Patriots squandered other opportunities. 3 missed field goals, or they could be leading by 19-3 at halftime. So Dallas coach Tom Landry must have some mixed emotions as he talks to his team.
I'm sure he's saying that we're lucky to be only down 10-3. We got a chance to get back in this game with 1 touchdown, and I'm sure that's what's on their mind right now in the dressing room.
Big day in football. Let's go to NFL 78 with Brian Gumbel in New York.
New England and Dallas, 2 teams who seem certain of going into the playoffs, are just 2 of the teams going at it today. A lot of them have gotten their playoff hopes risen. A lot of them, their playoff hopes have gone by the boards. The Dolphins, Jets, and Packers have won, but the Falcons have lost. Some of you are going to see local news. Some of you are going to be scores and highlights. Whatever you'll see it right after we take time out for these messages from your local stations.
With Len Dawson, Sam Nover. It's a 3rd down, 10-yard play for Pastorini to keep his drive alive. Field goals by Roy Girella of 42 yards, Tony Fritsch of 37. That is all the scoring we've had today. But it has been a knockdown, drag-em-out affair. Incomplete at the 35-yard line. Pastorini intending his pass for Kenny Burrow. And so their drive was very short-lived, Len Dawson.
Well, I'll tell you, they had excellent field position right where the ball is right now, 45-yard line. Came up with nothing. The 2 passes that Pastorini threw, not good passes. They were thrown behind the receiver, and they really didn't have a chance of coming up with a reception.
You're looking at 86 Jimmy Smith and number 83 T-Bell awaiting Cliff Parsley's punt. His last one traveled 51 yards. 59 seconds to play in a 3-3 first half. High kick, driving Smith back to the 6-yard line, to the 10. Not much more. Larry Poole, number 39, is the man who made the stop, so the Steelers with very poor field position with 47 seconds to play in the half.
That game between the Steelers and the Oilers, not the only one affecting the playoff pairings. There's a lot of those going on today. One of them happened in the nation's capital, and the Dolphins came up very big. 16-love, they beat the Redskins. A tale of quarterbacks. Greasy threw for 170 yards. Joe Theismann threw 4 interceptions, and that's really what it was all about. Mike, you were watching it. It was a fine defensive effort by a veteran Miami club.
Well, the last 2 weeks, Brian, the Dolphins have had 59 points registered against them. Today they registered their third shutout of the season. They played very fine. In the first quarter, Joe Theismann was picked off 4 times. This was interception number 1. It really wasn't his fault. Riggins tips the ball into the hands of Rusty Chambers, number 51, and the fourth-year man from Tulane rumbles all the way down to the 21-yard line, which set up a premium field goal of 34. It was 6-0 at halftime when in the beginning of the third quarter, Greasy from the 40 hits Jimmy Cephalo, touchdown, his third TD of the year, only 5 receptions. That made it 13-0. And Miami wins a very big one to set stage for that Oakland game next week.
And the Redskins have now lost 6 of their last 8. Thank you, Mike. The Atlanta Falcons' playoff hopes were dashed today, or really took a severe blow. They lost to the Cincinnati Bengals 37-7. Magic number at Giant Stadium was 6. 6 straight NFC West title for the Rams, 6 straight loss for the Giants. The final was 20-17, and the Rams did it despite being without 4 running backs. Their rushing total, they only accumulated 98 yards on the ground. And Mike, I guess that's the mark of a fine defensive ball club. When things can go wrong, you can still win.
Well, Brian, you're from Los Angeles, and you are accustomed to fine Los Angeles defensive performances. They turned in another one this afternoon. Pisarcik finds out right here how good the Los Angeles defense is when Billy Simpson tips the ball, and it's intercepted by 53 Jim Youngblood. And watch Big Jim go. He rumbles all the way down to the 7-yard line before Johnny Perkins puts an end to his odyssey. And one play later, Cullen Bryant, number 32, rambles from around the right side for 7 yards to put the Rams on top 10-0. Later on, Pisarcik gets the Giants on the board with this touchdown pass. A nice reception by tight end Gary Shirk. Make it 10-7. But Pisarcik was hurt, and Randy Dean was intercepted by Pat Thomas, his 7th interception of the year, and made it 17-10 at that point. And the Giants were just not going to beat the Los Angeles Rams today. The story in Shea Stadium, where the old New York Jets 69 championship team came out, they saw a great performance by Matt Robinson and Wesley Walker. The Jets got on the board first when Scott Durking scored from 3 yards out to make it 7-0. After a pass interference by Bobby Jackson, there he is, number 40, put the ball in the one. McCauley scored, but Jackson showed his displeasure by roughing up Donald a little bit, and the referee called the foul. One play later after the kickoff, Robinson cranked up his arm and hit Wesley Walker for 48 yards, and Joe Namath and Don Maynard, who were in attendance, must have thought it was a deja vu. They looked like their old passing combination. Robinson again cranked his arm up, this time for 38 yards, and he hits Wesley Walker. Earlier before the game, I talked to safety Bruce Laird, and he said about the only way you can cover Wesley Walker is with a gun. I think he's right. On the season now, Walker has become the first NFL receiver to go over 1,000 yards. He had just 2 receptions on the day. Both were for touchdowns, an average of about 40 yards per reception. Some kind of performance.
He is a home run hitter. Battle of the Bays, Green versus Tampa. Score a win for Green, a loss for Tampa. Final 17-7, big day for David Whitehurst. Buffalo, Kansas City. Joe Ferguson threw for over 200 yards, but he also threw 3 interceptions, and so the Bills on the short end of a 14-10 score. Philadelphia against Minnesota. Philadelphia's playoff hopes hurt. They lost to Minnesota 28-27 as Fran Tarkenton threw 2 second-half touchdown passes, and by the way, he completed his 289th pass of the year, breaking the old NFL record of Sonny Jurgensen, which stood at 288. Detroit against St. Louis, another win for Bud Wilkinson. He's now 5-9 on the year as the Cardinals beat the Lions 21-14. Gary Danielson threw 5 interceptions, and the Cardinals sacked him 4 times. San Francisco against New Orleans. The Saints, a winner today. That's their 6th win of the year, and that is the most they've ever achieved in any single season in their history. They won at 24-13 over a very hapless 49er ball club. New England against Dallas. New England winning this one right now, 10-3. The lone touchdown, a 52-yard run by Sam Cunningham. Pittsburgh, Houston, we checked in on it at the top of the show. This stands at 3-3 at the half. Let's go down to Mike Adamle. We told you it was a very bruising ball game, and Mike, 2 of the victims of the hard hitting were Lynn Swan and Earl Campbell.
We're gonna see both of them in the highlights. It was a bruising game. It's an ouch bowl because the hitting has been fierce. We're gonna see 2 of the plays right here. On Pastorini on the Houston's first possession went for the touchdown to Mike Barber down the middle, but number 23 Mike Wagner picks it off. It set up the Steelers didn't convert. But one play later when Pastorini, or one series later when Pastorini went back to pass, he was intended for Ronnie Coleman. Jack Lambert picked it off, and it did set up a Roy Girella field goal of 42 yards. Earl Campbell did bruise up his ribs, and he's out for the game right now, at least, anyway. And it's a very tough game in Houston right now.
Okay. One other ball game, Cleveland losing to Seattle 23-7, that ball game in the second quarter.
1978 National Football League game is brought to you by New Schlitz Light Natural Pilsner Beer. Still less filling with a taste that's bigger than light. By Dodge and your Dodge dealer, who invites you to come in and see why people are saying, hey, that's my Dodge. And by Sylvania, makers of Superset Color TV and a complete line of home entertainment products.
Once again, I'm Brian Gumbel. Very quickly, let's run down for you the scores of Week 14. Miami beat Washington in Washington today, 16-0. Redskins losing their 6th in the last 8. Cincinnati, a winner over Atlanta, 37-7. The Rams win the NFC West. They beat the Giants, 20-17. The Jets stay alive in the playoff picture. They came out on top, 24-16 over Baltimore. Battle of the Bays. Green Bay beat Tampa Bay, 17-7. Kansas City, a winner today. They beat Buffalo. Final there, 14-10. Minnesota with 2 second-half touchdowns from Fran Tarkenton beat Philadelphia 28-27. With St. Louis 21 and Detroit just 14, New Orleans beat San Francisco. The final there 24-13. And games still in progress right now. Some very big ones right here on NBC. New England beating Dallas 10-3. That ball game at the half. Cunningham has the lone touchdown. Pittsburgh against Houston. It stands at 3-3 at the half in a very bruising affair. Campbell and Lynn Swann have been hurt. And Cleveland losing to Seattle right now. That ball game stands at 23-7. The Seahawks keeping their playoff hopes alive. We've got some more football action to come. Stay tuned for the second half right here on NBC.
Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen at Texas Stadium in Irving, getting ready for the second half. 10-3 New England. It's a playoff type game.
Boy, it sure is a playoff type game. A lot of excitement on the field, and the statistics, which we'll give a chance to show you later, favoring, of course, New England. But 3 big plays. A penalty which negated. There we go. There's 7-point possibilities on that touchdown run by Grogan, and 2 blocked field goals. We're back to action.
Horace Ivory takes the kickoff for New England. We begin the second half at the 20. Ivory wiggling to the 25. And finally hauled down at the 22, and a flag is down. And a couple of wild swinging forearms in that melee.
This is not the kind of football game that you'd like to get called for a 15-yarder in, and it's been one of the cleanest football games we've seen in a long time. Also, 2 teams with great poise. Only 1 penalty, as we mentioned, in that whole first half, and that one came on the touchdown run by Grogan. Was a minor infraction that kept them from keeping those points.
Personal foul against New England, and they're going to open the second half deep in their own end. That's what you don't want to do against the defending Super Bowl champions. Look at those halftime stats.
There they are. And let's look at them. Of course, the biggest difference on the stat board there is the yards rushing. The Patriots have been able to run the ball effectively against the Cowboys, and every team that's beaten the Cowboys this year has been able to run the ball effectively inside. We'll see what kind of adjustments the Cowboys have made, whether they can shut it off. Of course, you see the turnovers even at 1-1, but as we said, the 3 big plays of the first half are not on that statistic sheet. The 2 blocked field goals, which put pressure again, maybe forced the missed kick by Posey at the end, and the penalty that kept them from getting that touchdown.
New England opens at its own 11-yard line, leading 10-3. Andy Johnson gets 3 yards to the 14. You can feel the Texas Stadium crowd trying to help that Cowboy defense. Randy White, Harvey Martin, those 2 names don't need a lot of help. Reset the New England offensive unit. Grogan at quarterback, Johnson and Cunningham as running backs. Cunningham a 52-yard touchdown run first half. Stanley Morgan, Harold Jackson, the speedy wide receivers. Reliable, tough tight end Russ Francis, 81. Offensive line, Gray, Hanna, Lenkaitis, Adams, and Jordan. Hanna appeared to have a brilliant first half.
A lot of Cowboy watchers here saying they'd never seen Randy White handled one-on-one like he's been handled today.
There's Harold Jackson, a quick out and a first down at the 23-yard line. The Cowboy defense respecting the deep threat of both Jackson and Morgan, and that gives Jackson that quick out and a first down.
Randy White told me he'd been having trouble handling the pass protection block on a play-action type pass. You see Hanna going to the legs there, and he's not being handled really one-on-one. Let's give him a little credit. That's Dr. Bill Lenkaitis, the center, coming over to help Hanna. They obviously respect the pass-rushing ability of number 54, Randy White, tremendously.
Morgan left, Jackson right. Up the middle, Cunningham. Ed Jones bulldogs him down at the 28-yard line, but not until Cunningham has about 5 on first down.
A lot of people in the New England area asking early in the season, what's wrong with Sam Cunningham? Not tearing off those big chunks of yardage. He's getting that yardage today. Ed Jones, Larry Cole, Randy White, Harvey Martin, same defensive front four they started with. Henderson, Brunig, and D.D. Lewis, the linebackers. Defensive backs, the same again as the beginning. Barnes, Kyle, Waters, and Harris, the two safeties.
New England trying to protect its record of not having lost on the road all year. They're 6-0. No other unbeaten team in the NFL away from home. Johnson acting almost as if he wanted to throw. Tied up by Henderson, fumbles out of bounds at the 25. So a loss as Johnson could not turn the corner. Thomas Henderson from Langston, Oklahoma, first-round draft pick, shut off the corner.
Offensive guard, not the kind of place you get much publicity, but John Hanna's going to get quite a bit if he continues to play today the way he has in this first part of the game. You see him out in front of the play, but Henderson doing a great job of getting under the block there of Hanna and forcing the stop for a loss, and you see a great hit there that had that been inbounds a little further, they might have been able to recover that fumble, Dick.
Passing situation, third down, 7. Grogan just gets it to Morgan. Aaron Kyle coming up. It was that little hesitation. Kyle wondering, should I go for the intercept or be sure that I make the tackle? He went for the tackle, and New England has another first down.
I think one of the things that allowed this pass to be successful is the strength of Grogan's arm. He really zips that pass. I think Kyle felt he could get up there in time to knock it away, but it came so quickly between the quarterback and Stanley the Steamer that Morgan was able to get his hands on it first, and I bet Aaron Kyle is saying, boy, I can't let him have that much room.
Merlin Olsen, that's where the pro scouts, when they look at collegiate quarterbacks, they're saying, hey, does he have the ability to throw the long out pass?
Absolutely. And Tony Dorsett, you see his stats on the sideline there.
Cunningham breaking tackles and ripping across the 40 to about the 41 before Henderson, traversing the field, can make the stop.
Russ Francis, not only a great pass-catching tight end, but one of his responsibilities is to block for the runners like Sam Cunningham. Watch him, number 81, right here, coming off the line, getting a shot right there on number 56, Henderson, getting a little extra shot from Henderson. You see Cunningham realizing there's no hole inside. He just made the yardage on his own on the outside. He's a great runner. What tremendous balance and speed for a big man.
Indeed, a great high school athlete, set the national scholastic record. He threw the javelin nearly 260 feet as an 18-year-old. Inside it goes to Johnson on a trap. Not much there. 43-yard line short of the first down. Let's review all the scores. So many important games today in the National Football League. In case you missed them earlier, here they are. All final scores. Miami shut out Washington, putting pressure on New England. Cincinnati, a big win, a disappointing loss for the Falcons. The Rams winning another close one against the Giants in New York. Jets still alive as they take Baltimore. Green Bay and Minnesota are still tied for first place as the Packers win. Kansas City nip Buffalo 14-10. Minnesota 28-27 over the Eagles, winning in the fourth quarter. 3rd and 2. Grogan under pressure. Wide open. Jackson, did he have it? Yes! At the 41-yard line. Jackson able to cradle that ball and keep his feet down, and we have an injured Patriot on the play.
Sam Adams, I think, got his wind knocked out, but what a great pass and what a superb catch by little Harold Jackson. I say little, but boy, when he makes a catch like that, he is a big man. Grogan under pressure here. They're getting the pressure on him right there, got the ball off perfectly, but Jackson had to make a superb grab on that. You see the official right on the spot, able to discern that he had not his feet in that case, had his knees in. Made it a legal catch.
And it was a cradle catch.
Yep.
That was the literal loaf of bread catch as he went out of bounds.
Carried it right out.
Harold Jackson rapidly becoming one of the all-time pass catchers. Cunningham on first down, big hole, and then it closes as slowing up the play was Waters from safety, and Kyle finished him off, number 25. Rest of the scores for you. St. Louis beats the Lions 21-14, scored a fourth quarter touchdown. New Orleans over San Francisco. Pittsburgh and Houston at 3-3 halftime score. Seattle, after jumping out to a 21-0 lead, now leading 23-10 at the half over the Browns. Loser probably out of the playoffs. And we gave you that final earlier. Minnesota 28, Philadelphia 27. Grogan play action. Going long for Francis. He's open. Oh. Just a half stride too far from Grogan. Waters and Harris, and they were beaten by the big 6'6" tight end from Oregon.
Even though they respect his speed, I'm sure the two of them were saying, good grief, he can't run this fast, can he? Watch the pass here, and watch Francis stretching with everything he has enough room on them. That's Waters reaching out, both safeties on him. He almost had his hands on that football. What a tremendous catch that would have been. Another angle. You see how close it was. I bet there's not more than 3 or 4 inches. And let's take one more shot at it. You see the football descending just beyond the outreached hands. Oh, just a whisper.
Cameraman looking for a way he could catch that one, apparently. We must have some New England fans here.
Maybe so, Dick.
On 3rd down and 8. Going again for the bomb. Harold Jackson. And Benny Barnes had him cut off rather neatly. So, 2 long bombs by Grogan. They cannot connect, and for the first time in the game, veteran Gerald Wilson comes in to punt for New England. That gives you an idea of the ball control of the Patriots in the first half. They did not have to punt the football. Butch Johnson will drift back to return for Dallas.
Gerald Wilson a little concerned today. He has an eye infection, and when I saw him yesterday, hardly able to see. His eye is terribly red. We may keep an eye on him, see how he's able to handle that snapback. He said, I'm seeing 2 or 3 footballs at times, and I've just got to hope that I can catch the right one.
That's right into the eyes of Wilson from Butch Johnson's point of view. Fair catch. Oh, it took a New England bounce out of bounds at the 5-yard line.
Well, red eyes and all, he didn't have any problem doing a great job with that one. They'll mark it on the 5-yard line.
I think he was looking right, kicking down the middle, and it went out to the left. We'll be back. 10-3 New England, early 3rd quarter. Into their own end at the 5-yard line. Drew Pearson to the left. 2 tight ends in. Veteran Jackie Smith on the right side. Dupree on the left side for Staubach. Dorsett and Laidlaw in the eye. Laidlaw. And he squirts through for about 5, maybe 6 yards. That's a big first down carry for the young running back.
Obviously, the Patriots have to be concerned about the outside run by Dorsett. On that play, they started everything outside and then handed it back to Laidlaw, who'd taken a quick step and then came back against the grain. A little misdirection play to try and take advantage of the great pursuit of that New England defense.
35 Laidlaw, 75 as a rookie, gained only 10 yards rushing. He was hurt. 76 gained 424 yards. Hurt last year, had only 15 yards rushing. Had a big game last week against Washington. Down after a yard gain is Laidlaw, 35. He had over 100 yards rushing in the first half against the Redskins last week when the Cowboys piled up an offense of over 500 yards against Washington.
Sugar Bear Hamilton, number 71, made a great play on that last one as they ran the same play going the other direction, faking again to Dorsett to the right this time. Hamilton read it perfectly, made a quick reaction. Going to be 3rd and about 3. Here's a quick shot for you. Watch him now. He reads the play to the outside first, then sees the play coming back and gets across to shut Laidlaw down. That's a fine job on the nose.
A lot of quick for 245 pounds. Staubach will pass on 3rd and 3. Gets it to Preston Pearson and a first down at the 21. Tackle made by 52 Steve King. Preston Pearson, his 40th catch of the year.
We showed you the kind of time that New England has been giving Grogan, and certainly we've got to pass along a few plaudits to John Fitzgerald, who's working on Sugar Bear Hamilton, number 71. Fitzgerald here taking him on right at the line of scrimmage, gets his hands on him, neutralizes him, stays with him, buying time for Staubach. You see number 68 there waiting for his chance to help. That's Scott waiting for a chance to help, but he didn't get one. Fitzgerald did too good a job.
The toss is to Laidlaw. Oh, met in a hurry by Sam Hunt. 6'1" and 253, perhaps the heaviest linebacker in the NFL, and he can still move. He got out there right now.
I'm talking to John Fitzgerald. He said, you know, we were watching the film, and big Sam Hunt got down in there next to Sugar Bear Hamilton. He said he blocked out the sun. He said he looked twice as big as Sugar Bear did. You see Sam coming off. They like to take him out of there on the pass situations. Well, now he's going back in. Go back in or go to work. You don't get any rest.
The reason now he's coming back out. Nelson came off limping. Steve Nelson, caustic 55, a speedier linebacker in for Hunt. They look pass, they get pass. Up the middle, wide open. Number 80, Tony Hill, a second-year receiver, tackled by Rod Schode of Oklahoma, very close to a first down. I believe he has it.
Hill, of course, has had an outstanding year. And great ability for this young man. Little play action fake there. Staubach able to get back again. Has time to throw that football. Hill had faked to the outside, broke across inside. Almost made a mistake here, however. He almost got back behind the yardage he needed for that first down.
And also a penalty against New England for holding.
Now that would have obviously got more than the 10 yards, so let's go down and listen to it.
Delay a game, 12 men on the field, defense, penalty declined, first down.
Hunt never did get completely off the field. He was in that revolving door he was in, then out, then in, and then out, and doesn't really matter. They had the first down on the catch anyway. They work on Nelson's right knee. That is not a good picture. First down at the 31. The Cowboys started this drive at their own 5. They trail 10-3. Less than 7 minutes left, third quarter. Dorsett. Oh, he's a beautiful runner. Fumble! And a scramble at the 37. Patriots say they have it. They don't. Dallas falls on it.
That's twice today that Dorsett has dropped the football when he's been tagged. But I have never seen a runner with better acceleration at the point when he decides to go than Tony Dorsett. Watch him here, drifting to the outside, got his eyes to the inside, right there, makes his decision, and just shoots up through there, gets hit right. That's Tim Fox. That's number 48. Roger Staubach said he'd never seen a safety hit any harder than Tim Fox, and you get an idea of what that kind of devastating hit can do right there.
Fumble cost about 3 yards to the Cowboys, so it's 2nd and 5 now. Too much time as Staubach exceeded the 30-second limit, so a delay of game goes against Dallas. No, they say illegal procedure is the call. The result will be the same, a 5-yard deficit for the Cowboys. We get word from Houston that Earl Campbell has just brought that Astrodome crowd to its feet. He has returned to the field. He's not in the game as yet, but just the fact that he's in all in one part has pleased his faithful fans of Houston, and let's hope that's a sign that Campbell will be back in action.
Both Swan and Campbell then examined, x-rayed, and allowed to go back to the field. Good news for both of those teams. And two fine players. I think every player in the game, and certainly the folks at home, want to see those great players perform. We don't want to see them hurt.
Preston Pearson in the backfield, good pass receiver, 2nd and 10 for Staubach. Knocked in the air, and Staubach may have saved a touchdown. Rod Schode batting the ball in the air, and had not Staubach gotten in the way of Schode, I believe he would have caught that one for a touchdown. He was in a direct line toward the goal line.
Schode very quick, able to be on top of Staubach before he could get that ball away. An excellent job by the blitzing linebacker. Schode coming from the right side of your picture here. Watch how quickly he's in on top of Staubach. You see him showing up right there. Schode up to bat that ball. And I think you're right, Dick. Had he not had to go right over the top of Staubach, he would have been able to follow right along and pick it up, carried in for the touchdown.
It was plenty high enough, about 25 feet in the air. So out of the shotgun, Staubach needs 10 for a first down. Plenty of time, wide open. Preston Pearson at the 41-yard line doesn't have that long of fingernails. Staubach, in fairness to him, his right index finger has been bruised, might even be a chipped fracture. We saw him yesterday, he had tape on. He said, it hurts me even to shake hands. Not the kind of guy who would ever complain about it. But when you consider the index finger of your passing hand, that's really your control. And as you release, you're snapping off that finger. Has to be bothering him.
Well, I talked to Roger about his hands. He's looking at his hands. He's got the hands of a lineman. You know, if he pointed his hand out to show you directions, you wouldn't know which way to go. We just got word that Steve Nelson has gone in for some x-rays. That's not good news, but we would hope to see him shortly. We certainly hope that's not a serious injury on Steve's part.
Danny White booms one to Morgan at the 20. Gets a couple of blocks, but is going to need more. Now he has some running room. and tripped up. Saving a possible long gainer was D.D. Lewis.
That's D.D. Lewis, who snaps the ball on the punt team down beautifully to protect on a long return.
No score yet in the second half. New England holding on to a 10-3 lead. 6 minutes left, third quarter. They were working on Stanley Morgan's ankle along the near sidelines. Don't forget football next Saturday and Sunday here on NBC. 12:30 Eastern Time for NFL 78. Features on Terry Bradshaw, Ray Guy, and Lance Allworth. And then you'll see the Colts and the Steelers. And of course for Baltimore, that's a game where they can just ruin some plans for Pittsburgh. That's next Saturday. And of course then a full slate of action again on Sunday here on NBC. 6 minutes left, third quarter. Grogan and the Patriots at their own 28. Grogan passing on first down one of the few times to Francis. Breaking a tackle. Oh, look at the power as he drags 3 Cowboys to the 49 of Dallas. Aaron Kyle, Charlie Waters, and finally finishing off the play was Cliff Harris.
235 pounds, and he used every bit of it there to steal a little extra yardage. Has not had an overpowering season in terms of numbers, only 30 receptions on the year, but he is really a factor. He has tremendous respect from all the safeties around the league, and whether he is in the pattern or not, they've got to respect the fact that he can get deep on them.
Most interesting man, Francis, who flies single and twin-engine planes and once took his former adversary Phil Villapiano on an upside-down ride over in Hawaii just to make him respect his talents a bit more. That's Cunningham, caught by Ed Jones. Ed Jones reading a key, and he came crashing in on the back of Cunningham for a 3-yard loss.
Let's go down and take a look at Ed Too Tall Jones, 6'9". Watch him right there, number 72. Just shoots to the inside, coming hard right on the heels of Shelby, who's pulling on the play, and that's great quickness for the tall man. Just buries the back in the backfield. Big defensive play. 4-yard, 3-yard loss. Going to be second and 13 yards to go.
Jones's quotas are saying he really likes to play in the big games. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I think until he learns to play in all of the games, he's not going to get the kind of recognition he wants.
Grogan, second down, 13. Open is Morgan. Broken up nicely. Good defensive play as Aaron Kyle, third-year corner from the University of Wyoming, a Detroit native and a journalism major, writes his own sports column for a suburban newspaper chain here in the Dallas area. And he'd have to like the way he punctuated that hit.
Going back to Ed Jones's comments about liking to play in the big games, I think when you put those numbers into the won and lost column, there is no such thing as a big game or a small game. And the great players are the players who play week in and week out, when they feel like it, when they don't feel like it, when they're hurt, when they're healthy. And certainly the great teams are those that are consistent and able to do the same thing.
Third down and 13. 47 of New England. Might be a blitz coming up from the Cowpokes. Nope. Grogan. Incomplete. Incomplete pass is crashing in. Martin from the right side and Jones from the left side. New England gives up the ball, and this crowd has a chance to enjoy.
One of the men that was in on that sack, number 72, Too Tall Jones. You'll get a chance to see him coming off the line right here. Stunning on the inside. They would try and put some pressure on Grogan. You see Too Tall battling with Shelby Jordan right there. Watch Harvey Martin off the block on the outside. And that's why you pay those quarterbacks a lot of money. I don't think I'd want them banging me around like that.
Boy, the human body is incredible. To take blows like that should rearrange your vertebral column.
Yeah, I'm afraid they're going to have to adjust him before they get him home tonight.
Gerald Wilson slaps one short, so Johnson will take it at the 21 and bring it back out close to the 30-yard line. Short kick, Cowboys at their own 30 with a timeout. Ladies and gentlemen, 4 minutes and 9 seconds left in the third quarter. The Cowboy fans looking for a tying touchdown. Fairbanks introduced the wishbone at Oklahoma 1970. We'll see the Sooners and the Huskers in the Orange Bowl on January 1. Don't forget the Fiesta Bowl on Christmas Day, December 25th. Arkansas, UCLA from Tempe, Arizona. Pleased to have that as part of our NBC sports programming.
Reverse
set to the 38-yard line, the old Statue of Liberty type reverse. Gains about 8. And then, of course, the Rose Bowl on January 1. USC in Michigan. Very well. not knowing what's going to happen in the other bowl games. We could see the national champion coming out of that game as the Trojans and Wolverines do battle once again. Then our game, the Orange Bowl, Merlin and I will be down in Miami to see Nebraska and Oklahoma. Some say that Oklahoma might well be the best team in the nation. Nebraska says, we beat them.
That's a rematch, boy. That's going to be a good battle down there, down in the Orange Bowl in Miami.
Laidlaw picks up the first down as he crosses the 40-yard line. On his back, Mel Lunsford from Central State, Ohio College.
Again, the same play as we've seen Staubach use again and again during the day. Faking to Dorsett around the outside. Little quick position step by Laidlaw, and coming back against the grain. They've made good yardage with it, especially in situations where they've had short yardage situations.
And a rather quiet third quarter. No scoring. 10-3. New England leads. 52-yard run by Cunningham, the only touchdown. First down throw by Staubach. Right there. Dorsett, 50. All the way to the 39 of New England. First down, Dallas.
And you feel this Dallas crowd come alive. Staubach's got them moving now. Two big plays. Of course, that play going for a nice chunk of yardage, putting them on the 40-yard line. Let's pass out a few plaudits to the defense of the Cowboys, too. They've only given up 2 third-quarter touchdowns, and they've held New England relatively in check during the third quarter of this game, which is almost over. 2:09 left.
From the 40-yard line, first down for Dallas. Dorsett. Oh, watch this one. Gonna go long, and they have Hill wide open. Touchdown. The staid, cool, collected Landry, an atypical play. A little flea flicker.
He's not afraid to go to the grab bag every now and again, too. Right here. Hands off to Dorsett. The old flea flicker. Flips it back. Staubach has all the time in the world. Hill all alone. Tim Fox running for everything he's worth. But Hill able to back his way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Now Septien trying to tie it out of Waters' hole. He just did squeak that one inside the right upright. And a flag is down.
And we got a penalty here on the kick.
All right. Kick is good. They'll penalize New England unsportsmanlike conduct on the ensuing kickoff. So a new game in Irving's Texas Stadium. Tony Hill's touchdown has tied it at 10.
Hey, see y'all down the road, Jack. If you're going to move your family, you can save a lot of money by renting a truck. Moving yourself, and you might as well rent a real truck. A Ryder. Ryder isn't famous for renting cars, beep, beep, little trailers. Ryder's famous for trucks. Pro drivers will tell you that.
Okay, King of the Road. Just hold the lamp.
Hey, see y'all down the road, Jack.
Ryder, the best truck money can rent.
3 unidentified 19-inch color TV pictures, each the best of its brand. Over 1,000 people saw them and picked the one with the best overall picture. They didn't pick America's biggest seller, Zenith, or the second biggest, RCA. Over 60% picked the 19-inch Sylvania Superset. Over 60%. We're not the biggest, but a lot of people think we've got the best picture. The Sylvania Superset.
The Cowboys have tied the game at 10 on that circus play. We saw that earlier as Terry Bradshaw of the Steelers beat the Cleveland Browns with it in overtime. Horace Ivory to return the kick, but Septien will nail it from the 50-yard line after a 15-yard penalty on sportsmanlike kick conduct on the extra point try. Sometimes coaches will flirt with an onside kick in this situation.
Well, if you wanted to try one, it's certainly a good opportunity to do it because the worst field position you end up with is around the 40-yard line. And very often, a good kick from a normal shot on the 35 will get it back to the 40. So I think you'll see, they're lined up ready for it. Chuck Fairbanks is one step ahead of us, Dick, down on the field. He's got 5 people up close and a couple more looking for the onside behind them.
Septien's going to drill it. That'll just be no return. Ivory will take it right there. Touchback at the 20. Let's go back to the Dorsett to Staubach to Hill play.
Absolutely out of character for the Dallas Cowboys, but maybe that's why it works. Dorsett just pitching it back to Staubach. And I'll bet Tony Hill had 20 yards on the nearest defender. Ball hung up there a long time. Tim Fox, hustling for all he was worth, could get there just in time to bang him out of bounds. Another quick look from our end zone camera. High above, you see the ball thrown back there by Laidlaw. Right here now, zip. Look how far away he is. Ball not particularly well thrown. I think Roger was so thrilled to see him open, he may have gunned it a little short.
It wasn't until that shot I realized it was Laidlaw, not Dorsett, who made the lateral. 10-10 tie. Noisy now at Texas Stadium. And gets noisier as Cunningham stopped after a 3-yard gain by Ed Jones. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
The news source, KTVB, Channel 7, Boise.
Dallas 10, New England 10. A minute 30 seconds left in the third quarter. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. Texas Stadium, 65,000 sold out for this battle of 2 first-place teams, each trying to prove to the pro football world that it is the team going into the playoffs.
And they're slugging it out.
2nd and 7 for Grogan. Gets away from Cole and hits Francis. Boy, Grogan showing his power. And 3 men drag Francis down. Forward progress to the 35 and a first down. But Grogan needed that 6'4" and 210 pounds of muscle to escape that defensive charge.
That was too tall. Jones, number 72, coming around from the outside, hooked his arm, and he just pulled himself right back out of it, zipped it past the number 81 Francis. Good job by the quarterback, and of course got him out of the hole. You never like to find yourself down in your own territory that far. You need to get out here, give yourself a little breathing room. Maybe they can get something rolling now.
For you who have joined us late, New England missed 3 field goals in the first half. 2 were blocked. Andy Johnson into a crowd of Cowboys. The corral was a little packed. And seconds tick away. That may well be the last play of the third quarter. Larry Cole, Bob Brunig in on the tackle. And that should be it for the third quarter. So we're going to go to the fourth quarter in Irving, Texas. Each team with 10 points. Fourth quarter coming up. The Dean of NFL Coaches, testimony to the 35-degree temperatures, talking with Staubach, ready for the fourth quarter. 10-10 tie. Grogan and the Patriots have the ball. 2nd down and 8 at the New England 37. Grogan to throw. Man open, but couldn't find Harold Jackson at the 50. He had to hurry his throw. Pressure on. Big AMF Grand Prix of bowling for you next Saturday, along with football here on NBC from Reno. You'll see some of the top men and women, the Anthonys and Webbers and Roths, Robinson, battle for a $100,000 purse. That's 4 o'clock Eastern time next Saturday on NBC.
Pressure supplied on that last play by the 2 outside linebackers, Dede Lewis and Tom Henderson, who were both blitzing. As you said, he did have to unload it quickly, kept him from having a chance at that completion.
Big play, 3rd down 8. 10-10 tie, opening the fourth quarter. Again, Jackson, same call, and he was wide open for the first down at the 50. And had not Barnes made that short tackle, Jackson had a touchdown ahead. He was isolated out there, one-on-one.
We'd like to take you down on the field again to watch Harold Jackson work some of his magic. Benny Barnes respects the speed of Jackson. He drives Barnes off, breaks to the sideline, ball's on target, and there's that very fine open field tackle you talked about, Dick. Benny Barnes knew he was by himself. He wasn't messing around out there.
That call was like a pitcher saying, hey, he won't look for the same thing. I'm going to come back fastball inside again. He's probably looking for a ball away. Jackson had Barnes thinking something else and gets the first down catch. Grogan screens it, intercepted. Harvey Martin intercepts at the 39-yard line. How do you do?
A lineman's dream. The crowd going crazy. Let's give you a close-up look at Harvey Martin on that last play. Number 79. Big defensive end. You see him accepting the congratulations of his team there. Watch Martin now. Number 70, going to try and cut him right here. Tries to get his hands down. Martin puts his hands on Leon Gray, gets back. Now watch him. One hands the ball right there. Tips it back inside, and now he says, touchdown, here I come. He's going to run like a halfback. Francis finally gets it down. One happy man on the sideline.
Dallas native. Of course, he's proud to be playing in his hometown. First down at the 39, 10-10 tie. Staubach trying to get the Cowboys in front. Wide open Pearson. Preston Pearson to the 25. And a flag is down at the 24.
I think we got a clip back there on Butch Johnson, number 86, coming back to try and help on that one. Well, that takes a nice gain away from him if it's true.
Preston Pearson, all Big Ten basketball player at Illinois, drafted a free agent by the Baltimore Colts. Those free agents work in rather nicely in the Dallas system, as you all know.
We talk about the game away from the football. Watch what happens to Roger Staubach after he gets rid of the football here. Ball is gone. Roger Staubach watching. Kapoom. He is still watching from his back. Well, he pays a price for that position of quarterback.
Clipping 89 offense.
89 Dupree was guilty of the clip. 43-yard line. It is first down and call it 13. 10-10 tie.
Mark back from the spot of the foul. That's why we find the unusual yardage on that play.
Hill right. Pearson's been quiet to the left. Drew Pearson. Backs are in the pattern. That's Tony Dorsett using that spinning move of his. It's cost him a couple of fumbles, but he also makes big yardage with it. He's to the 35 where it'll be second down and about 8.
Cowboys trying to take advantage of the deep drops of these linebackers. Staubach now getting time to throw that football. Puts it right on target. And Dorsett knows what to do with it. You see him spinning away from one tackle. Going to try and spin from a second one. Did not get the chance. Had some tough groundwork down there on the field.
Call it second and 7 at the 36. Again to the air. Being chased. Almost threw that right to a red shirt belonging to Ray Kostick from Mississippi State. Kostick playing for the injured Steve Nelson. That's right. Nelson, the brilliant linebacker of the Patriots, has not seen duty now for a while since hurting his knee early in this half. Let's check some other late developing scores. Pittsburgh and Houston still entangled in that 3-3 tie in the Dome. Out west, Seattle apparently going to beat Cleveland and keep its playoff hopes very much alive. And of course later tonight, Denver and Oakland will also determine just where Seattle fits into that AFC Western Division picture. Big play for Dallas, 3rd and 7. Shotgun Staubach. Good protection. Wide open is Dupree. Touchdown, Dallas. Dupree, second shot is spiking it. Cowboy fans delighted. And Dallas leads for the first time since early in the game. The 9th touchdown this year by Billy Joe Dupree.
I think Staubach had just put him to sleep and not used Dupree except for a couple of short shots. And now he's got him streaking deep. He's by himself. Even though you got a couple of guys back on him, I don't think they believed that he could run as well as he ran on that pattern.
Now the try for a point by Septien. Just barely made the last one, you'll recall. Now that one's down the middle. Tony Hill was a spectator, and he liked what he saw when Dupree hauled in that touchdown pass, Merlin.
Oh, we can't blame him for that. I think the excitement of watching one of your teammates make that kind of catch. Look at that. Absolutely. Puts him out in front, 17-10.
13 minutes left. The Patriots ready to take the Dallas kickoff. Septien to kick it off. Ivory deep at the other end for New England. 13 minutes left. Dallas 2 Staubach bombs here in the second half to take the lead 17-10. Ivory at the 10, 15-20, 25-35-yard line before he's tackled by Guy Brown, number 59, and Dennis Thurman, a rookie from USC.
They're just catching the last rays of sunlight this day, getting longer. You see it up high. Got a chill kind of hitting the air here. I'm sure the New England Patriots felt it. I think they felt it when Dupree caught that touchdown pass, and they went ahead. Dallas went ahead 17-10. But Grogan on the field now. This New England team has come back all year, Dick. They've made a habit of it. Let's see if they can do it here.
Cowboys have turned 2 turnovers into 10 points. Their first field goal in the first quarter came after a Charlie Waters interception, Martin's interception setting up the touchdown. Grogan goes back to the air. He's in trouble. Brunig, 53. Check that, Larry Cole, 63, and Harvey Martin. And Dallas now owning this football game.
Cole coming in from his left tackle position. Just would not be stopped on that one. He's a good pass rusher. And played effectively in place of Jethro Pugh today. And able to get in there. You see him leaving the field now. I think they probably sent Dave Stalls in. They believe it or not, they like Stalls even more as a pass rusher than they do Larry Cole.
Stalls is a second-year man from northern Colorado. Very quick, a small but quick defensive lineman. Pittsburgh moves into a 6-3 lead at Houston, third quarter. Grogan facing second down, 21. Draws it to Ivory, breaks one tackle. Some nice running by Ivory. He was caught for a loss and turns about a 3-yard deficit into an 11-yard gain and brings up 3rd and 10. Stalls, 65, made the hit along with Randy Hughes, 42.
Give you a chance to see this one from the end zone. Watch this little draw play. Gets away right there from Randy White. White had a hold of him, unable to control him. Watch the quickness of Ivory. Just back through the middle, pulls away there from a couple of people, and had not Stalls come across from behind, he may have beaten another tackler and been out into the open.
Ivory went to Nolan High School in nearby Fort Worth, Texas. Now many of his family cheering him today. 3rd and 10. Good protection. Grogan going long for Jackson. Broken up nicely by Benny Barnes, number 31. Nice play by Barnes. Charlie Waters helping out and congratulating his teammate as the Cowboy fans with a 17-10 lead cheer the defense. You know that feeling well.
Yes, I do, and they deserve that kind of applause. They've done a good job of shutting down New England. New England unable to run the ball, unable to control the ball as they did earlier in the game. That's been the significant factor of this second half. That and the resurgence of the Cowboy offense.
10 men on the line of scrimmage for Dallas. Butch Johnson, the deep man. Another short kick by Wilson. 31, Butch Johnson at the 39 and out of bounds at the 40. Wilson not getting much hit at all on his punts. From Irving, Texas, we're at 17-10. Dallas, let's go to the Pittsburgh-Houston game.
Sam Nover, Len Dawson at the Astrodome. You're looking at Dan Pastorini, the Houston Oilers quarterback, who becomes the umpteenth player in this football game to be injured today. Earl Campbell was injured early, has not returned. Lynn Swan was injured early, came back. And there's Gifford Nielsen, the Brigham Young rookie, on the sidelines. And in the event Pastorini cannot continue, Len Dawson, that is the man who will bear the brunt of the responsibility.
Well, it's a very tough situation for that young man to go into when you're down by the score of 6-3 in a game as important as this game. Houston must win this football game to keep their hopes alive.
No gain. Dallas first down carry by Scott Laidlaw. Don Meredith, who starred here with the Cowboys, had some lean times too. Dandy Don, one of the 4 in the Cowboy Hall of Fame. Well, one of his records erased today. Roger Staubach, most yardage in a single season with his throws today. He's approaching 3,000 yards passing here in '78. Second down 10. Staubach back to the air. Screens it to Laidlaw. Sugar Bear Hamilton. And a fumble, and New England has recovered at the 45-yard line. Or if they called it dead, oh, it's Dallas's ball. He said he was already down.
New England obviously upset, but I believe the ball did bounce out as he hit the ground on that last play. Dallas Cowboys mixing their plays well. You see them start out with the running fake here, stretching everybody. Staubach looking the play off, and then laying it back on the screen right there. Schote getting to the outside as he must do to control that. Now let's see where the fumble happens. Oh, my.
Tough to call.
Oh,
Tough
my. Another look at it. Let's see if we can see where it comes out. Looked to me like the ball was loose before he hit the ground. Yes, it was. From here it was.
Third down 5. Staubach triggering from the shotgun. First down to Preston Pearson. Oh, he's always open. Let's go back to that fumble. That could be such a critical call in this game.
Well, we can't give you another look at it right here. That's Sugar Bear Hamilton has got him. Kostick stripping at the ball right there, and the ball is loose before he hits the ground. I don't blame New England for being upset, but again, we have benefit of the slow and instant replay cameras. The official on the spot has to call it as it happened, and that's a quick call when it happens in live action. But still, the fact is the ball was fumbled.
Now Tom Landry with a 17-10 lead, and the Cowboys have all the momentum, and here comes Tony Dorsett. Oh, unable to get outside in 52. Steve King for the injured Steve Zabel, able to make the tackle. Dorsett closing in on Calvin Hill's single season rushing mark here in Dallas. Just a few yards away, but he loses a couple on that play. Make it, well, no gain, they say, 2nd and 10.
A lot of pressure, Dick, on the New England defense here. As you mentioned, Steve Zabel, the linebacker, hurt. Steve Nelson, probably their most dominant player, out of the lineup. They're going with some people who haven't seen that much action in there. Steve King doing a good job for Zabel. Now Kostick is into the lineup. He has shown himself well, but they have a lot of pressure right here. Let's see if they can shut Dallas down.
Butch Johnson and Roger Staubach did not like the defensive set for the call and uses a timeout. It comes with 9 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the game. Dallas with a ball, leading 17-10. Former Navy star, Heisman winner 63. Roger Staubach looks at 2nd down 10 from the New England 46. Sends his backs in the pattern. And has to eat the ball at the 45-yard line. New England logging its 2nd sack of the game, 34th for the year, as 71. Sugar Bear Hamilton shot through.
Last week, the Patriots got 8 sacks. Tony McGee, number 78, got 4 of them. But on that play, Sugar Bear Hamilton showing you why he's so highly regarded as a noseman. Looked like Fitzgerald had him blocked out of there. They had a couple of other people waiting to help. Sugar Bear just turned it on, got in, got a piece of Staubach, would not let go, sacked him. Now we'll see the shotgun. Let's see if they can handle it with their contained defense. They're going to have 4 defensive linemen in the game now. 4-man rush on Staubach.
3rd and 19 from the Dallas 45. Preston Pearson, 26, was the man you saw in motion. They're going to screen it to him. He's at the 50, the 45, and short of the first down. Dropped at the 45. So Dallas going to have to give up the football. Punter Danny White and the kicking team comes in. New England with 8 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game. A touchdown behind.
One of the things the Cowboys do to you, Dick, they throw so much offense and so much defense at you that in preparation for a team like this, you spend a great deal of your time just figuring out what it is they do. They throw perhaps as many as 24, 25 formations at you. They absolutely frustrate a defensive preparation because you have to go through recognition for hours and hours and hours so you know what set they're in.
Mike Haynes is deep. Fair catch at the 11-yard line. In fact, Calvin Hill told us, talked with Calvin when he just joined the Cleveland Browns earlier this year, 3 days before a game. He said, heck, I can learn any offense after going through that Dallas system. Timeout here at Texas Stadium, 17-10 Cowboys, plenty of time left. The New England Patriots, who controlled the first half but led only 10-3 at halftime, losing 3 field goal tries and a touchdown call back by penalty. Find themselves outplayed by Dallas in the second half. It's 17-10. The give is to Sam Cunningham, who has a 52-yard touchdown run. It's good for about 4, 2nd and 6. Merlin?
Tom Landry obviously happy. There's another man who's happy. The man in the hat, Bob McKay, in his 9th year out of Texas. He and his wife Donna announced 2 days ago the birth of a baby boy. Their first, Joshua Charles. While we're making that kind of announcement, Keith Martin, one of our NBC electronic maintenance experts, having a birthday. Happy birthday down there, Keith.
Gotta keep those spark chasers happy.
That's right. He's keeping us on the air. We'll keep him happy, too.
2nd down, 6. Ivory gets the call. Horace Ivory out to the 20-yard line. Appears to be shy of a first down by about a yard. Randy White trailing the play made the tackle. Pacing Tom Landry along the far sidelines. His team in front 17-10. Just under 7 minutes left.
76, Larry Bethea, the #1 draft pick of the Giants, into the ball game. Harvey Martin apparently hobbled a little bit by that injury. We just got word that Dan Pastorini has suffered a possible fractured rib and probably will not return to action in that Pittsburgh-Houston game. That's a blow to the Houston team, although Gifford Nielsen, a fine young rookie, has apparently gone in to fill Pastorini's shoes if he can.
Boy, they just beat the 30-second clock, and that's Cunningham outside. Uses the straight arm to get a first down at the 24. He showed his tremendous speed despite his bulk and his 52-yard touchdown run, outrunning Charlie Waters for the score, and almost got around all those white shirts that time. Brunig and Harrison on the tackle. First down. Clock stopped. Out of bounds play. 6:21 left. Patriots linebacker Steve Nelson, x-rayed, extent of injury undetermined. He will not play anymore today, however. 83 yards for Cunningham, who leads all rushers in the game.
Carlos Pennywell, number 88 in the ball game for Stanley Morgan. I wonder if Stanley is suffering some kind of injury, Dick. We'll keep an eye on it.
They worked on his ankle earlier in this quarter. Out to Jackson. Oh, what timing on that pass. The ball was more than 80% of the way there before Jackson even turned his head, and he looked, and it was right at his face.
A quality reception, a quality throw. You see the two coaches echoing their feelings on the sideline. This game still very much in doubt. You can go either way. 7-point lead on these Patriots. Not a great deal. They're an explosive team. They know how to come from behind. The Cowboys know that. They're trying to control them defensively right now.
First down. Cunningham up the middle, shy of the 40-yard line. Brunig from his middle linebacker spot stacked it up. Bob Brunig, 53, only the 3rd starting middle linebacker regular in Dallas history, following Jerry Tubbs, his linebacker coach now, and the great Leroy Jordan. Well, that's some lineage.
And he's learning very rapidly. That's a tough position to play, a very, very complicated position to learn. He's got so many keys, so many reactions that he must make. They say he's progressing very rapidly, has better speed than Leroy did, and apparently is to a point where he's playing the run extremely well.
That was Ed Jones, a little equipment repair on the sidelines. Grogan scrambling. 35, 40. Ooh, is he hit. Fumbles out of bounds at the 43. And some of the New England Patriot coaches, and look at Chuck Fairbanks.
Boy.
I've never seen him so demonstrative as he really jaws with the official.
I don't blame him. You wrap up a lot of timing and a lot of confidence in your quarterback. You don't want to see him cheap shotted out of a game. You don't want to see him out of it at all. Maybe we can get a chance to see why Chuck Fairbanks was so upset. There is no flag on the play, and I guess we hadn't better say cheap shot unless we see one. That's unfair. Let's watch Grogan. Obviously going down, hit right there. Now he's angry. There's a hook right there. D.D. Lewis coming up from the backside.
56 Henderson is the man who came in with a forearm across the helmet, and that's what Fairbanks
That's what Fairbanks was angry about. Yep.
43-yard line. It's a big 3rd and 3 for the Patriots, trailing by 7. 5 minutes left. And Grogan will throw for it. Johnson can't catch the ball. It was too low, and the Patriots will have to kick it away. Let's look at Thomas Henderson again on that call where Fairbanks thought there was a penalty or should have been one call. 56 is Henderson. Watch him come with a right forearm across the helmet.
Oh, yes, right there. That's what he saw. Yes, you see him whipping that forearm, taking the head of Steve Grogan. I don't blame him for being upset. The official, I think, screened from that play. I think if he had seen it as we saw it from here, probably would have thrown a flag on it.
No question. That was 15 yards. 10-man rush. Johnson back at the 15. Gerald Wilson looking for a good kick, and it's another low kick. But he's going to get a good bounce. Too good. First down for Dallas at the 20. 4:57 left in the game here at Irving, Texas. Let's check on Pittsburgh and Houston at the Astrodome.
Jack Lambert has just intercepted Dan Pastorini, the third Pittsburgh interception today. Pastorini, having suffered badly bruised ribs on the last series, returned to the lineup for this series. And on second down, threw a pass that was intercepted by Jack Lambert. And the Steelers, Len Dawson, have it in excellent field position.
Well, they're going to question whether he should have come back in the football game with rib problems, because that's the worst thing that a quarterback can have. Every time you breathe, it's going to hurt. And you can see 58, Lambert's in position. He wants to lateral the ball right here to a defensive back, but he finds out it's another one. Jack Ham
back live. Bradshaw trying to get the ball to Stallworth, and Stebrick knocked it away. This has been an incredibly rough football game today. Not only Pastorini, but Mike Barber, Mike Renfro for Houston, and Earl Campbell have been injured. The Steelers had to play a long time without Lynn Swann. 6-3 Pittsburgh here in the fourth quarter.
Our thanks to Sam Nover and Lenny Dawson down the Astrodome. That sounds like a war going on between.
It's a real battle. Two very physical teams, and obviously a great deal at stake in the Astrodome today.
Here, 4:57 left in the game. Dallas with the ball leading 17-10. They're going to try to run out the clock. That's Dorsett getting only one at the 21. And you know what New England's thinking. Stop them and maybe force a turnover. Hollywood, Thomas Henderson. He doesn't like the fact that Harold Jackson also has a nickname, Hollywood, coming, of course, from Los Angeles to the Patriots. I think there's no question Henderson's the real Hollywood in the meaning that he wants it to be presented.
The Washington Redskins last week said he's not Hollywood, he's a hot dog. But Henderson said, well, you guys are turkeys and the feathers are all over the field. So not creating goodwill between the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins.
Second down, 9. Clock running, 4:18 left in the game. Staubach, play action. Rolling. Wide open. Dupree. First down at the 38-yard line. 52, Steve King made the tackle. And the clock continues to run. Exactly 4 minutes left in the game. And Dallas has another 4 downs. And they'll use as much of that 30 seconds between plays as they can.
Drew Pearson coming up with another big play. Interesting, or not Drew Pearson, Billy Joe Dupree. Thinking about Drew Pearson, we haven't seen him catch the football today. He's got a 58-game streak. Unless he catches one in the next 3 minutes and 30 seconds, he's going to lose that, Dick.
I'm sure Staubach, once he feels the game's in control, might even get him one, even if it's a little short one. Scott Laidlaw. And a flag is down as Laidlaw drops at the 48-yard line. It appeared to be a face mask penalty against New England, or we might have a hold, too.
I'm afraid I didn't see that one. We'll get to the official. Yeah, face mask goes against New England. Give you a chance to see the penalty in person. Right here, Laidlaw up the middle. Gets room to run. Sugar Bear Hamilton reaches across, grabs what he can get a hold of. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to grab that face mask. That'll add 5 yards to the end of that run. They've got to be looking at that clock. They've got to be looking up and saying 3 minutes and 24 seconds. The last thing in the world we can afford defensively is to let them move the ball down the field. Let them control the football. If they're going to win this game, Dick, that defense has got to go to work and take it away from the Cowboys in the next series.
Certainly can't afford a field goal. That would make it much too tough. 17-10 Dallas. It's been 2 different halves. New England first half. Dallas has owned the second half. And Dorsett crammed in his own backfield at the 48. May have lost a yard. Hunt and Lunsford with a stop.
Looking back at the change at halftime, we'd certainly have to say that the Cowboys have done a better job of adjusting, and very often that's the case. A team that's doing well has to go in and say, well, we'll try and continue to do what we're doing. The team that's behind very often, if they're not behind very far, can make the kind of adjustments, hopefully, that will shut a team down. Dallas has shut down the running game very effectively in this second half. That's been the difference. New England unable to generate their offense.
And Staubach with those statistics, 2 long passes, 40 yards to Hill, 36 yards to Dupree, and he looks as if he wants to go long again down the middle. Almost intercepted by the Patriots on the deflection. Tony Hill climbing high, couldn't corral it for Dallas, and that'll bring up 3rd down and a long 10.
The most dangerous kind of a play action pass. Staubach's back actually has Hill open momentarily, but watch what happens, Hill. Here, the ball goes off Hill's hands and hangs. Now, defensive backs can cover a lot of yardage while that ball's in the air. They're very lucky that that was not intercepted.
Raymond Claiborne gets that one on the dead run going the other way. It's trouble. 3rd and 10 and a half. Clock stopped with the incomplete pass. 2:37 left. Staubach with 2,999 yards passing this year. A new Dallas record. And he goes for more. Incomplete. Claiborne, the nearest athlete, looked as if he wanted to hit Hill, well covered. So, in essence, the Cowboys helped the Patriots a bit. 2 incomplete passes to stop the clock, and with 2:33 left, out of field goal range, in comes Danny White to punt the ball.
Obviously, kick it for the sideline, hope to pin them down deep and force them to go as far as they can in this last 2 minutes and 33 seconds. Saw Drew Pearson going off the field, as we mentioned. Unless the Cowboys get a chance at it here later in the game, his 58-game reception streak may have gone by the boards.
Haynes, the deep man, he's averaged around 13 yards a punt return in his 3-year career. That one might go into the end zone. No, he's going to catch it at the 6.
Got to try and make the big play. Ooh, yeah.
Stays on his feet, gets some blocks to the 20. Oh, look, and he's still on his feet at the 30. And all the way out to the 40, fumbles the ball, but I believe he was down. No, they say the ball was still alive, and Dallas has it. Oh, I thought he was down. Thomas Henderson made the hit.
Well, who's making the signal? I know the Dallas players have signaled it, but did the official signal it, Dick?
Well, they haven't signaled the ball down. They're looking to see who has it underneath that pile, and it's a wrestling match, and Dallas says, we've got it. Boy, this is like waiting for that final vote to be counted.
I'll bet Ace and the boys at the embassy are concerned about this one as we are.
Well, I'd like to see that one again. It appeared that he fumbled when he hit the ground with the naked eye, but let's see what the replay shows.
Well, that's a tragic turnaround for the New England Patriots. Just a super play. Haynes taking a chance here, knows they need a big play, does a good job. That's 1 tackler, 2 tacklers, out of the grass, up the sideline, 3 tacklers. Jumps over another one right there. Now watch, let's see if he does fumble before or after he hits the ground. There's the hit. Ball is out.
That's right.
Good
Absolutely.
call by the official.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now there's a case where we were screened from our position. It appeared he had the ball when he went down, but obviously it fumbled.
It looked like someone from New England had the ball first. Now watch the ball stripped loose. Here's the shot right here. Ball is down. Ball is loose. It looked to me like someone, 2 New England guys, had a chance at it right here. There's one right there. The ball bouncing up. Haynes himself sees it. But apparently it's the Cowboys who recover it. What a big break for them.
Indeed it was. But it was a good, solid hit that did it. Now another fumble. And who's got it this time? And it goes to the Cowboys. Well, that's when you're going good. That ball went out of Laidlaw's hands right into Hunt's. And Hunt just shoveled it right back to Laidlaw. Unbelievable. As we come to the 2-minute warning, let's see that one again.
Would have been a great opportunity. Laidlaw just dropped the ball, never did get it. Hunt had a hold of it, unable to get control of it. Just not New England's day, Dick.
2 minutes left, 17-10 Cowboys. NBC mighty proud to be presenting the Fiesta Bowl on Christmas Day. You're going to see some great runners for Arkansas, Cowens and Eckwood, and for the Bruins of UCLA, Brown and Owens. 3:30 Eastern Time from Tempe, Arizona, Arkansas, UCLA of the Fiesta Bowl. Here with 2 minutes left, New England has its 3 timeouts left. 2nd down, 11. Dallas after recovering its own fumble. That's Dorsett out on a wing left. And a reverse. No, Staubach keeps the ball, cuts back inside, and pays the price at the 37.
Ooh. Staubach looked like he was having trouble hanging on to that football. An interesting call as they're trying to confuse that defense again, force them to think it was a reverse play. Here's a chance to see it as the defensive backs would see it. They take the misdirection, and it's Staubach all alone out there? No. Ray Kostick out with him, number 55. Watch Staubach have to fight to hang on to that football right there. That's Choate, number 56. It really put his head into that ball, almost knocked it loose.
New England, after waiting 10 seconds, exercises a timeout. 1:42 left. It's 3rd and 7, and we'll be right back. That's another incredible week of National Football League action, and some of the playoff picture will be clarified a bit by today's results, so stay with us. Sperry NFL report, scores, highlights, standings. Right now 17-10 here in Irving, Texas, and out of the shotgun, Staubach, 3rd down, long 7 from the 37. That's Preston Pearson in motion. Keep your eye on him. No, give it off to Dorsett, sweeping to his right. Oh, did he take a pop before going out of bounds at the 35-yard line? Dallas certainly didn't want Dorsett to do that. He's shy of the 1st down, and he stops the clock with 1:35 remaining. He's just set a new Dallas record with that run, breaking Calvin Hill's mark set in 1973 of 1,142 yards. But for Tom Landry, he would much rather he'd lost a couple of yards and stayed in bounds and forced New England to spend a timeout.
Danny White coming onto the field will be kicking for the far coffin corner, trying to get as much yardage between the New England Patriots and that goal line as he possibly can. Patriots have 2 timeouts left. They used one to stop the clock in that last Cowboys series. And of course, they're hoping that they can put a little pressure on this punt. In fact, looks to me like no one is back to receive. They're probably going to try and block it right here.
Haynes is only 10 yards downfield. Good snap. And looks as if New England's going to start deep in their own end. 1-yard line. Can't be any tougher than that. 99 yards away from a tie of the New England Patriots. So Dallas has played a superb second half. They've done just about everything right, just as a defending Super Bowl champion might be expected to do.
Looking back at this game, as you watch, that's the special teams coach. We just saw him on the sideline, Mike Ditka. Of course, that's Danny White, the kicker. Did a great job. 3 of the biggest plays in this game have to be the 2 block kicks early in the game. And, of course, that punt right there that puts 98 yards between Steve Grogan and his offensive unit and the other goal line. How much tougher can it be? I'm sure Chuck Fairbanks, look at him, they're huddling almost out of the end zone.
It's a feisty band of red shirts, however, these Patriots. 17-10, 1:25 left for Grogan. He needs some big plays, obviously. Throws that one away. Francis was covered by Waters. Jackson had Lyle right on him. Great coverage by the Cowboys, and they still generate with that front 4 such a good pass rush. Let's check the standings now as we approach the final seconds. In the East, should New England lose, they would be 10-4, and Miami 1 game back, 2 games to go, and Miami and New England meet in the final week of the season. NFC East, Dallas has already heard that Philadelphia has lost, Washington has lost, so be a big win for the Cowboys. They'd assure themselves a playoff spot. Not necessarily the championship yet.
Well, they win their divisional championship, Dick, because of the losses. If they win here today, they can sew it up.
Grogan. Uh-oh. Should have been intercepted. Thomas Henderson had it right in his hands. Grogan missed a man open short and threw it right into a crowd for Russ Francis.
3rd and 10. Steve Grogan. You see him running to buy himself a little time here. I don't know why he's bothering to fake a pass. We all know that he's got to throw the football. That's Randy White putting the pressure on him. Watch Henderson. Ball right in his hands. Just let it slip through. It looked like that's Randy. Who was it? Charlie Waters just unloading on Russ Francis. And Henderson comes up. He said, "Why did I miss that football?" Hollywood he'd like to have had that one, wouldn't he, Dick?
Well, he had a touchdown. He wants to perform that crossbar slam dunk.
Yeah, he wants to go up over the top with it. Big play.
3rd and 10. Well, they'll go for it on 4th down, too, now. Time running out. Grogan needs a gainer. Francis, too far. And now it's 4th and 10 from the 2. Clock shows 1 minute 8 seconds left. Grogan unable to connect. Well, here comes the punting team on for New England.
Well, a minute and 8. Don't be so sure they're going to punt the football, but they don't have a lot of room to operate down there. They sure don't. It's got to be frustrating for the Patriots, who played so well in that first half, who had really 2 field goals blocked at 6 points, the touchdown negated by a penalty, and obviously lost those points.
Missed another field goal after they lost the touchdown.
Another field goal after that. A lot of points in this game that could have been in their pocket. They got to look at that scoreboard and know that they've played well enough to win, but still looks like they're going to go out of here with a loss.
Yeah, they can only hope for a fumble now. Butch Johnson gets it at the 44 of New England. He's at the 40 and down at the 33. 57 seconds remaining, and Dallas in control. The executive producer of NBC's NFL Football is Don Ohlmeyer. Today's telecast produced by Michael Weissman, directed by Ken Fouts. Our thanks to technical director Horace Ruiz and associate director Richard Klein. Here in the booth to Jack Prote and Bruce Jolish, Ted Davis, and Doug Adams, our player identification. Well, they established the ground game in the first half, but have not been able to run against Dallas in the second half, and that's a key part of this game.
That's been the key to it, because they were not able to get the kind of offensive horsepower that they had in the first half, and we are clarified on the fact, Dick, that if Dallas does win, because of the losses by Philadelphia and Washington, they do clinch the NFC East. They, of course, will have their playoff situation well in hand.
Staubach sits on the ball at the 35-yard line, and New England will call timeout, but they don't have enough left to really stop Dallas. So with the score 17-10, Dallas over New England. Let's see how Houston and Pittsburgh are doing.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have just taken a 12-3 lead over Houston as Terry Bradshaw has thrown a 5-yard touchdown pass to John Stallworth. With Len Dawson, Sam Nover with the action.
Tough going, Sam, all afternoon. This is the first touchdown that we have seen. Pittsburgh has been down there before, coming away with 2 field goals. But Stallworth is a man who came up with a brilliant catch earlier to keep this drive alive, coming up with the 6 points that they need right now.
Well, the Oiler defense has played brilliantly all day. They've kept the offense in the game. Of course, the offense lost Earl Campbell early. They lost Mike Barber for a while. They lost Renfro. They lost Pastorini, but he still came back despite a rib injury. However, the Steelers now, with only 3:45 to play in regulation time, have taken a 13-3 lead in this tremendously important Central Division game.
Well, it's really important to both ball clubs because of the playoffs.
And that playoff picture will be clarified as, again, Staubach sits on it. Time called, 50 seconds left, but that is the last New England timeout. Now, Staubach can just do the same, and it appears unlikely that Chuck Fairbanks' Patriots can do a thing about it. Well, Dallas, you say the breaks go your way in some games, Merlin Olsen, but somehow those experienced teams, the defending champions, seem to come up with more of the breaks than those who are trying to catch them. But for Chuck Fairbanks in New England, they showed in the first half they can move the ball against the Dallas defense. And who's to say, had they even kicked those 3 field goals, it would be 19-17, and maybe would have been a different story in the second half. Dallas had to go into the locker room with hope after the first half.
I talked to Chuck Fairbanks before the game, and I said, Chuck, how important is this game to you? He said, well, the most important thing is that we play well, He said, the final score is not so important as what we do on the field today. He can't be that disappointed in the performance of his troops. Certainly there are things he would like to have seen them do better, like to have seen them run the ball better in the second half. Would not like to have seen those breakdowns. But a lot of those breakdowns were great plays on the part of the Dallas team. The block by Martin or Too Tall Jones early. How can you figure a thing like that? Dallas obviously sitting on the ball again. The clock will have to run this time. We'll run down almost to 10 seconds with the 30-second clock. But he said, again, I want my team to play well. They need to find out how good they are. I don't think they're disappointed. Their fans are disappointed. Certainly they'd like to go home with a victory in their pocket. But they know they can go head-to-head with the Dallas Cowboys, defending Super Bowl champions, and they may have the chance. They may have the chance later on.
Indeed. Now, that Eastern Division wild card is going to be interesting, isn't it? Because this makes New England 10-4, Miami 9-5, the Jets 8-6, and Houston apparently will be 9-5.
What a tangle. What a tangle. They'll fall on it again. This will run the clock out. The Dallas Cowboys.
No, it won't run the clock out. As soon as he's touched, that's change of possession, and New England has the ball. So they have 6 seconds left.
Oh, my. Well, we've seen bigger miracles, haven't we?
That's right. We might see that alley-oop and bat the ball around play.
Yes, we surely might. The Dallas Cowboys, though, have played extremely well in the last 3.5 weeks. They trace the turnaround for them to the midpoint of their loss against the Miami Dolphins. Since that time, they have put a tremendous number of points on their board. Their defense is playing much more aggressively. They appear to be peaking at just the right time heading into the playoffs.
Indeed, this would be their 4th consecutive win. Well, to just haul back and throw it as far as you can for Grogan and hope that someone with a red shirt will wind up with it. Francis is down there, but it's a white shirt that gets it, or at least knocks it down. The Cowboys have won the Eastern Division of the National Football Conference, and they beat a mighty fine New England team today. Dallas 17, New England 10. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen in Irving, Texas. We now take you to Sperry NFL Report in New York.
An amazing day week 14 has been. 2 teams have clinched playoff berths already, and some others have had their hopes dashed, while some other teams have kept some very slim playoff hopes alive with just 2 weeks to go in this season. I'm Bryant Gumbel. Mike Adamley is in our highlight center, and this is the Sperry NFL Report, brought to you by Sperry Rand Corporation, whose commitment to the future is making machines do more so man can do more. It has been a big day in football, week number 14 on the NFL side. Let's get to the scores and highlights of this day. And we'll get to them along with some highlights right after this word from Sperry.
I want you to meet my new business partner. He's a management genius. A whiz with figures.
A brutal ball game going on in the Astrodome right now. The Steelers are leading the Oilers 13-3. It has been a hard-hitting ball game. Let's go down there live and join Sam Nover and Len Dawson.
Sam Nover, Len Dawson, the Astrodome, Houston, Texas. We have exactly 2 minutes and 33 seconds left in regulation time. Terry Bradshaw moments ago hit John Stallworth with a 5-yard touchdown pass, the only touchdown of the day, enabling the Steelers to take a 13-3 lead, but Pastorini has driven them right back again. It is first down and 10 at the Pittsburgh 28. Dan's passing stats on the day. Over the middle, incomplete, intending it for Tim Wilson, his fullback out of the backfield. And the Oilers with 2 timeouts left here in the second half.
You can see that number 7, Dan Pastorini, isn't happy with the officials because he thought that the linebacker was guarding or face guarding his receiver, the fullback Wilson. Now, Pastorini is hurt. His ribs are bothering him. He got banged earlier. Now, you can imagine just when you're healthy, you can see right there that he thought that the linebacker was going for the man and not the football.
We're back live, second down 10. Pastorini deflected and almost intercepted. Jack Lambert, who has 2 interceptions already today, almost had a third.
Okay, very quickly now, because we've only got a minute, let's run down the scores of Week 14. Miami 16, Washington nothing. Cincinnati beat Atlanta today, final 37-7. Los Angeles, a 20-17 win over the Giants. They win the NFC West. The Jets beat the Colts 24-16. Green Bay, a 17-7 winner over Tampa Bay. Kansas City 14, Buffalo 10. Minnesota 28, Philadelphia 27. St. Louis 21-14 over Detroit. New Orleans 24-13 over San Francisco. Dallas 17-10 over New England. Pittsburgh's leading Houston 13-3, and Seattle is beating Cleveland 40-17. It has been a very, very busy day. It was an exciting day at Shea Stadium. Let's go down for our play of the day and check in with Mike Adamley. Michael?
Here this afternoon at Shea Stadium.